I thought he was going to fake to get out the chair, and then no, actually, I'm here.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 5, if I'm correct, of the Guardian Show.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think it's 5.
More than one.
I put 5 on the little announcement thing on our Facebook page. So
We'll go with that.
We'll go.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what we'll go with, and we will not change. Hello, and welcome. Today, you can probably imagine there's going to be a lot of talk, RE FAQs, and Dale profiles. But we will keep to our normal nonsense and ramblings because that's just who we are. So
I'm nonsense.
yeah.
He's rambling.
I'm rambling.
Yeah.
I'm just here to make 4.
Gethin's and. So, gents, how are we?
Well, I just noticed that suddenly we've turned into the 4 stages of beard growth between.
Oh, that's excellent. That is
Ali's
excellent.
got 2 days. I've got a week. Gethin's got a handsome, gerbil stapled to his face, and Dewi has the full rhododendron bush that he can keep bits of breakfast in for later.
And I do that. And I do that. So, gents, so what have we been up to for the last 2 weeks, hobby-wise?
Trying to grow a beard? No.
2 weeks, oof.
Well, since we last
been
recorded.
making ents out of tin foil just to see if I can do it.
Have
Have you not seen them on Discord?
Oh, was that what they were?
They're in the work in progress, yeah. Slowly getting there.
I was gonna say that.
So what I've basically done is got florist's wire, learned to contort them into frames, and then I put tin foil over the top, and then I put a kind of chicken wire gauze on top of that, which then gives something for clay to cling on to, and then you put the layer of clay on, and then you get a little tool, and you try and sculpt some details into it. It's going all right so far. I've got my first one up and ready to be clayed later this week.
Is that a word?
Yes, it is now. It's a verb that I've conjugated especially for you.
To clay.
Yes, I'm going to find out basically if the structure is going to withstand the weight of having clay on it, because it's made of tin foil and florist's wire. So this could go horribly wrong.
I was going to say, don't put a thick layer of clay on. I think you'll be all right.
Oh yeah, I'm not going for like the Vesuvius survivor. I say survivors in the wrongest sense possible.
It's the balance of, I don't know, like what you've got on the base. That's probably going to be actually.
Yeah.
So my only use of clay was for my Witch King's Fell Beast. I just got a bit of clay and
to do what?
Pushed in. So I didn't need a flying stand.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I thought you were like the actual fell beast. You just stuffed a blob of clay into.
Clay.
I was going to say, suddenly Gethin's the only one with an obese fell beast flying around.
Yeah, they must not feed those things.
But you can see the ribs on them.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's described in the book as being like incredibly like thin and stuff like that.
Well, they've done a job. They've got a body here.
It's also described as more hawk-like in the face, isn't it? It's like a big bird of prey, whereas PJ went for flying reptile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flying eels.
I do like the aesthetics of PJ's fell beast. I think they look really cool.
I brought a friend to come and see Ardicon because I was staying with him in Manchester for free bed and board, and he was walking around the table, was going, "What the hell are these levitating snakes?" Because so many people had the plastic fell beast model, and they just take the wings off because they get in the way of everything.
I genuinely thought about adding that rule to my tournament pack. Like, the thing has to be fully assembled at all times, because that is one of the most annoying things playing. I just don't understand how hard it is to attach the wings. And
what about when you have just the base going round? Because
dead take it off. That's one of my pet peeves, is seeing people with models.
Just take a dwarf army, everything on foot.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't glue the wings on mainly for transport, and then the only times to take them off in the game is one of my opponents knocked them off, and it's on like their side, because I'm just like, I'm not going to bother trying to walk around the table to try and put it on, because they're going to be too like awkward of breaking it more, even though it's not broken. So I'm just like, just can't hand me the wings, or I don't know if there's a bunch of monsters, but I've never had that.
I think transport is solved by our sponsor. There we are.
Magnets and
But I've got a backpack.
Magnets and really useful boxes, along with Gorilla Glue.
Yeah.
So on the topic of our sponsor, actually,
Oh god.
we've had some positive feedback because Josh Devoy, an avid fan of the show, is currently
We have fans, let alone avid ones.
He's currently rebasing his stuff, magnetizing them using Gorilla Glue, and putting them into those cases.
And the boys in the chat. And he's in the chat.
He's in the chat.
Excellent.
We'll have to get him on just for like a product review. Just
yeah, 5 minutes with Josh.
Race on eels. Yes, thank you. Thank you to Ski Studios for the recommendation.
Yeah.
Magnets boxes.
Yeah, I thought when you said we're going to have sponsor, I thought it was going to be like that Olympian that went to the dressage and the horse just didn't do anything. That became glue the next day.
That was so demoralising. For anyone who hasn't seen it, there was a German modern pentathlete who was in first place, and they only get 20 minutes with the horse before they have to ride it, and the horse did not want to do anything.
Yeah, jumped the first 4 fences and then went up to clipped the 5th one, and then was like, you know what?
No.
Nah.
Did you see the controversy, like
the German coach?
The
like,
coach,
he got banned for punching
he punched the horse.
It was a woman, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, a coach can be a woman.
No, but the coach was a woman.
Get with the modern times, like, jeez.
Well, Gethin did use the male pronoun, so
did I?
Give him
don't bail Dewi out.
I thought it said
TJ.
Oh dear. Gethin, what have you been up to for the last 2 weeks?
So
have we forced you back into hobbying now?
Not completely. I've done a bit of work on the Hobbits and Barrels, but not much.
Nice.
But I guess technically my biggest hobby thing was a surprise on Thursday. So I got a call from my old workplace telling me that a parcel had arrived.
Oh dear.
I had no idea what the parcel was. I had no recollection of buying anything. Turns out it's the Horizon Zero Dawn board game Kickstarter that I paid for in 2018, and it just arrived.
No. Wow.
So I think I've got a picture on my phone, but I have a giant stack of boxes just filled with miniatures. So I thought my War Games painting pile has dropped significantly. However, I now have the Dark Souls board game, the Horizon Zero Dawn board game, and 2 Harry Potter board games.
Okay, plenty.
Well, when were you last in your old job?
Oh, jeez, that's loads.
Yeah. I had to carry that across Chester.
I was going to say, how long ago did you leave your job?
So I left my job in November.
Okay. At least it wasn't
long ago.
At least it wasn't like early 2019.
I mean, that is still what, 9 months?
Yeah.
Or I just completely forgot. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
Like when the guy opened it and said it was a Horizon Zero Dawn board game, I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't remember buying this at all. So.
Oh dear.
See Josh's comment about your predicament. Your hobby history comes back to haunt you. I would say it's not the worst thing you could have accidentally posted to your previous employer.
That's true.
Also, I'm guessing you're still on good terms with your previous employer if they told you it arrived.
Yeah. There was loss of job due to COVID, so
okay.
Still on good terms.
Okay. I was going to say, at least you didn't like storm out. But,
Set fire to the bridge as you left the building.
Do the Gandalf.
Epic way to leave a job.
Oh dear.
I'm done being an angel on Earth. I'm breaking this bridge.
Being a grey angel. I want that promotion, damn it. If you won't give it to me, I'll go see someone who will.
Alistair, what have you been up to?
Actual hobby.
Yes.
Oh my.
So I'm going to whatever the Preston event is called this weekend coming.
Grey Havens?
Yes.
It's usually Grey Havens for Preston.
So 650.
I only know because I've seen Charles posting quite a few things recently.
Yeah. So 650 points, and I've decided I'm going to take Fairjord's Guard again. And on reflection, I eventually vaguely half listened to Dewi and was like, yeah, Outriders may be handy in the list. Although you did tell me to mount them, so I didn't. Partly because I had 9 Warriors of Rohan with bow hanging around, and partly because I
You
couldn't be
mean
asked to spend.
you conveniently had 8 and then wanted to find one more and managed to have only one in your
Well,
collection?
I conveniently had 9. So I've been converting up some Warriors of Rohan to be Outriders, which basically just involves sticking a plume on. I still need to do the grassy bases, but
Where are you getting your plumes from?
well, Dewi refused to make them for me, so I sculpted them myself out of green stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like,
Come out good.
can you do this? And I was like, you can just like get a bit of green stuff.
I'm pretty sure you did. You said that on the podcast last time.
Do a few
Probably.
lines. And
He still said no afterwards.
I was going to recommend, if people are doing masses of conversions, Anvil Industries do those little plumes that you could put on Royal Guard or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually currently looking into where I can buy shed loads of boot brushes for the Dale Knight.
What to do?
To do conversions.
I don't know why I'm demonstrating.
I don't know what they're called. I think Carthaginians or Athenians used to have them on their helmet, so that would probably help me when I do the Google search.
Yeah.
They're basically big peacock feathers, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
It's good. They can take their helmet off and scrape their boots after a day of marching.
Yeah, exactly. I have finished... What did I finish? 7 Knights of Dol-Amroth mounted, a captain mounted, Dol-Amroth captain that is, Dol-Amroth captain on foot, and a warhorn and a banner on foot too. So I've had like a relatively productive week and a half, 2 weeks. Then this morning I started on some Citadel Guard on foot because I've realised I need them for dismounts. Did some Minas Tirith bases on ready for printing that I've designed, and I've got Wild Riders with
sweet
little plume bits. So if I put that above my head, you can probably see.
Yeah, detachable mohawks.
Magnetite.
So you make plumes for yourself, but
these are blue stuff molded. These are literally just press molded. Well, press molded and then I poured resin in. But I've got a Wolves of Isengard army, so getting them ready was actually a really good idea. And they're just magnetized, and then the riders have got magnets as well. So should be dead easy. So yeah, by next Thursday, I've got to have 2 Wild Riders painted and based, and then my Citadel Guard mounted based, Citadel Guard on foot based, and redo some bases from Minas Tirith. So... And I'm going away for like 3 days this weekend. So, I've got loads of time to... and then I'm playing Jamie, who's Skeeth, and tomorrow night, and I think Sean, Luke and Tom might be coming over as well. So, yes.
A party.
Yes, very much so. So, yeah.
Okay, what's a POG?
I don't know what a POG is.
It's a thing on Twitch.tv, the live stream website. A POG moment is so Richard is excited that he's managed to catch the stream.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This is why we've got you on the show, really. It's just to translate all of this technical knowledge that we have no idea.
Oh dear. Gents, we have rattled through what we've done in the last 2 weeks in like 15 minutes.
It's because we've actually done hobby this week.
Yeah.
It's time to go off topic, eh?
Yeah.
How's your dog's bed?
Oh, which one?
Which one? I saw one picture of
it. So the grey fluffy one that people might have seen on my personal Facebook. We bought him another one. And we also bought him like a kind of thicker foam kind of mat for his cage, and within a day they both had holes in. So yeah, we kept both his old bed that looked the same, and they both got holes in. One now essentially looks like a massive handbag if you pick it up because there's 2 huge holes with just a tiny strip of material in the middle. And yeah, he likes to just. he doesn't eat the insides. He literally chews it, like pulls it out, and then goes, just spits it out. It's like great.
Dog chewing gum.
Yeah.
Just having fun.
Yeah, he likes to suckle. So like he just puts big handfuls in his
Where's
mouth.
this going?
No, he just puts big like mouthfuls and just sucks on it when he's really tired on his bed. So that's why we kept them. But yeah, absolute chaos. When you spend 50 quid on beds and within 2 days both of them have holes in, it's great.
Is there anything like any pet I've ever had? They then wind up going and sleeping on the hard tile floor anyway.
So
Doesn't matter what you buy from.
So the bottom of his crate is like a big plastic sheet, maybe metal sheet, plastic, I think. And we've got like 4 blankets in there for him, like smaller ones. But yeah, quite often he's laid on the plastic because it's a bit cooler. He's a big black long-haired dog, so
yeah.
he likes to.
I've seen a rabbit sleeping in what's the dustpan with a long stick.
Yeah.
That little.
Oh,
Right.
Oh dear. Right. CJ is primed and ready. I
Got myself
haven't
ready.
got open our.
Do you have your books this
What
time?
we need. Don't be silly. They're still in the garage.
I've got
Garage.
I've
Don't
got
be
like
silly,
2
they're
in
still the
range.
garage.
I got some of the books. Or I got the books I own.
You got the books you own. Cool. Right. Let me just. I completely forgot about doing. Not completely forgot, but I haven't cleared our little table. So.
What do we pay you for? All of our patron sponsors are going to be so disappointed.
Well, you guys are getting paid. Do that 4-panel meme now, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
Except everyone's just
That
like,
film
"Oh,
was
you're getting paid."
surprisingly funny, actually.
Which film's this?
Is it We're the Millers or something? Or,
That's it.
Well, the Jennifer Aniston one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. Right, let's go on to a bit of. I got told this by my missus today. A bit of like celeb gossip. Apparently, Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer are getting together.
Cool.
Ross and Rachel.
Yeah, I knew that bit. Like...
Oh, interesting. What was I going to look for?
Didn't she used to go out with Brad Pitt? That's
Yeah.
a hell of a step down, isn't it?
She definitely did. Right, I think I am ready. So let's transition to the pinwheel.
It's spinny time.
It is spinny time. Right, let's get that a bit more in the middle.
Top 5 strength 4 humans without axes. Okay.
Not a chance. We're not letting you pick a topic again. Right, here we go.
Hello, Ali.
And we are spinning. Pen and paper, that's what I was getting.
Oh yeah, because I always forget what I put in pen and paper. I actually just done a Word document.
Right, so the topic is good monster heroes.
I'm guessing that
Okay,
means
there's
Alliance
3
good,
of them,
not just heroes that are good.
Yeah, no, as in...
Did
It's
we do this one
heroes.
last week? Or was that good? That was flying.
That was flying.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are.
Good monster heroes.
Yeah.
Wait, can Beyond
think
finally
of-
be in a top 5?
Yeah, I can only think of 5 tops. Yeah.
I've got to try and think of
Run
the
through
5
this.
now.
Does Radagast mounted count?
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Good.
a hero
So,
on
number
thing.
1.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of overlap with last week, isn't there?
See, I don't know the stats for the new ents. So,
But to be fair, there's so few of them. You like monster heroes.
yeah.
I've forgotten the names of one of them though.
To be honest, I think that
Probably got
even in a category with 6 things in it, Bayorn is still going to lose out.
It went for mine because I can't remember the third ent.
Yeah, I can't. But I also
Yeah.
think. Well, we'll find out anyway in a minute.
Poor old Bayorn.
Right,
Is
I've
there any?
got my list.
Is there any other good monster heroes?
Pre-ents quite heavy on. Does the Iron Hills Chariot count? It's not really a monster.
No,
No,
we're
no.
gonna have a quick list.
What about Dane?
Yeah.
Dane's a bit of a monster.
All elves are monsters because they're just terrible people.
Are we all just trying to think of a 7th one?
Yeah, I feel
Yes.
like that is the game at the moment.
If we're counting Yeah, if we're counting Radagast on Eagle as one of them, then
We are. Otherwise, we're all
so
going
we
to have
get
to say.
6. Yeah.
I mean,
there's
we might still
some
have the same
choice.
anyway.
Yeah, I can't think of any more. Right, let's put them
Yeah,
in.
so this
let's
is
put them
just
in
an
order.
Yeah, it's just an argument of placement, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, so I don't know the Ent stats, except for I think I know one thing, so that's how I can judge where he goes.
I've got the digital version of War in Rohan, so I'm trying to get it to load quickly enough.
You've got 2 minutes.
See, that'd be
50.
smart, having like all the PDFs just available. So you wouldn't have to scroll through the books, you could just Control F.
Yeah.
Because then you could just look Control F for monster as well, right?
Yeah.
I think the jankiest thing I ever ran into was somebody using Treebeards alongside Lothlorien. So basically, Galadriel's entire role was transfixing anything that could deal with Treebeard and dragging the mirror along behind him.
I know.
That's
I know
a-
Clubly's brother used to use Treebird.
That's a pretty good idea, to be fair.
I know
It's similar to the
people have done the
Guahir
thing,
mirror
yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah. Except the thing with the Treebeard one is you don't Guahir doesn't have to keep coming back. With Treebeard you can
No,
just
but Guahir picks up the mirror because it's above strength
object.
6,
Yeah.
so it can do.
Is that the rule anymore? I thought it was your strength has got to be more than double the defense of the object for heavy objects in this edition.
I thought if you were a monster, you could just pick up heavy objects.
If you're, I think, above strength 5, so strength 6 or burly, you can do it with a heavy object.
Who in the chat wants to be the TO?
Josh, you're up.
Our avid listeners.
Hey, they're watchers, aren't they?
14 people right now.
I mean, I hope they're listening as well, because otherwise it's going to be really boring.
Right, here we go.
Have we got closed captions on, do we?
No.
Oh, I really want to watch it back one time to see what they reckon the closed captions say automatically.
Oh dear.
Topical question, which I think you guys touched on last time. If Quick Beam was the hero of Valor, do you think many people would ally him into good lists?
Probably.
I will talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
Quite probably. I think there's a reason he's not.
George, you have now helped my list.
Is Ents, like, are they green with anyone?
No.
No.
No,
they're yellow. with
Ironic if you
everybody.
ask me.
They're yellow with absolutely everyone.
That was awful. That was awful.
I
heard what he said, and I wasn't going to acknowledge it. But thank you.
Don't worry, I'll just repeat. I'm no person that I'm just going to repeat it until someone acknowledges it. So
I'll take one for the team.
Evening, Johnny.
I'm trying to say
10 seconds.
1 and 2 for me is down to
7,
whether it's being used
8.
as an ally or in its own faction.
Oh.
you got to make a decision.
And that is time. That is time.
We're going to make CJ go first.
Okay. Well, we start at 5th.
I was gonna
That
say
way,
we
and then
start
we work
5.
around. Yeah.
Oh, we could start at 3. Why not?
Oh.
Right, I've gone Beachbone for number 5 because Treebeard basically does everything he does, but better. Apart from getting rerolls against orcs, goblins, Uruk-hai.
That's gone. Right.
Do you get that even when you're doing the bludgeon?
It says when making strikes, so that's probably down to some rules lawyer because I think BPAs are in place of strikes. So
yeah, so probably not. Because if it was, that's actually hideously good because you will just kill everyone that you're in contact with.
He's got a hatred against those orcs and goblins.
He's got a strange hatred where it's not the standard +1 to wound; it's you reroll failed to wound rolls, which we'll come on to later when we discuss the FAQ and bloody Vein of Kings or whatever it is.
I'm trying to sort my shit out at the moment.
The quick rules lawyers for the monster thing is monsters treat heavy objects as light objects.
Cracking.
Another point to me.
And you said strength 6. I said monsters.
I think it is strength 6 as well.
Okay. don't know.
The Goblin King is a monster, but strength 5, so he doesn't
But
get
he's
run
also
over
burly.
because he's a monster
burly.
rather
Right,
than.
There we
Yeah.
are. We are back. Not we're back. We are.
I was
I've
about to say,
got
did we
the
miss?
screen-
There
No,
you go.
no. CJ, what was your number 5 again?
Beach Bone.
Beachbone. That was mine as well. I couldn't remember the stats, but I assumed he was better than Bale.
I actually went Bayon at number
I went
5.
Bayon as well.
Uh,
Because I forgot. I didn't know Beachbone's name.
purely because Bayon can actually appear in lists without Treebeard and can lead Eagles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
Touche.
feel more likely you're going to see Bayon than you are going to see Beachbone.
In a pure Fangorn list, you're probably going to see all 3 named Ents as often as possible.
But if you're going to pure Fangorn list,
I'd actually say that you'd probably see more pure Fangon lists than any list with Beyond. I think I've only ever seen, since I've been playing, I've seen one, like David Whitaker play Beyond and no one else. Like, even
Okay.
like
I've never
but
Fred's
this
seen
way,
Beyond.
I've played Bayon about 4 or 5 times at least, but not this edition. That was back when I used Eagles. Because he's your second free might hero, even though he may not be the best with points in that list.
But his heroics can't affect anybody else, can they?
Not in bear form.
No.
I think not.
Oh,
in
so if you
bear
keep
form.
him in man form, he can affect the Eagles.
I'd have to double check that.
That's
He's got the Hobbit book handy.
Yoink! Right. Keep talking. Gethin, what was your number? Oh no, we've done all the
It's
number
Beyond.
5s.
I could do my number 4.
Yeah, go on
for
then.
it.
Quick Beam. Because he's quick.
Yeah.
He's
But
a
he can't be
beam.
he can't be allied in, so you have to take Treebeard, so it's got a hidden cost.
To be honest, I did actually forget
Hidden.
Beachbone's name as well, but
Yeah.
I can believe
put Beyond
at least you
there
had
at number
a
5.
reason.
That's exactly the same as my number 4.
You're completely correct, by the way. Bayon the Bear has to charge enemies if he can, and he cannot use the stand fast and heroic actions of other models, and other models may not use his. So if you keep him as a man, yeah, you could potentially return him back to being a man later in the game to do heroics for the Eagles.
He's still a strength 5, fight 6 man, isn't he?
Yeah.
And
plus one
burly
twin,
two-handed axe, yeah.
Yeah. Like, he shouldn't die.
He's got strike,
It's only
strength, and
shooting.
defense, so
Oh, he's
Yeah.
got defense.
yeah.
See, I knew all this. This is why he's at 5.
Ali, what's your
Crushing
number?
strength is a bit pants. as
He
a
should. His
BPA.
crushing strength should be something like bludgeoned,
Yeah.
or it should be like it's a 2+ or something. I don't know, or D3 wounds or 6, something like that.
See, you say that, but I've seen someone do like 15 wounds to something.
You gotta be lucky.
15
Very
wounds
Yeah.
on one model.
It's kind of pointless,
Yeah,
right?
it might.
Yeah,
have
was it
been,
Smaug?
It might have been a Mummer.
I was about to say,
They
there's
only have
very
10
few.
wounds.
Yeah, no,
There's
they
very
just kept
few
rolling to
models.
see how long
Okay.
how far they could go.
Because most models have 3 wounds, realistically, and
Yeah.
you start with 3 attacks.
Yeah.
It's kind of
So,
like, I know you've got potential to go beyond 3, but realistically, you're probably going to mess it up on average. Before
Depends
you
if
get
they.
past 3.
Yeah.
Depends how much fate they have. I think that's the
Yeah,
one
but I
thing
mean,
you're right.
after
yeah,
you do your 3rd roll, you're statistically very unlikely
Yeah.
to have kept going.
What's your
My
number
number
4?
4 is Quick Beam as well.
Quick move as well. CJ.
my number 4 is Quick Beam because he brings March to the Ents.
Yes.
And he's movement 8.
And he's move 8, so you can really catch people out. The way that monster bases are so large, you often get just short of where you need to go. So actually the Dweller in the Dark and Quick Beam with 8 inches is actually more valuable than you think.
Nice.
But to answer the question of like if he was Hero of Valor, back when you could ally heroes with Fortitude in, I know from at least our sort of Team England ETC chat, so many people were planning on including Beachbone in their list to get like a monster with Quick Beam in their list to get a monster with March, and him being fight 7 isn't really a downside because you're still higher than anyone who's not Glorfindel or Gil-galad, really.
Or
Or
Sauron.
in Good v Evil, it's just Azog and Bolg, really. Or the Necromancer is fight 7, weirdly.
Yes.
Sauron's fight 9, isn't he?
Aaron and Balrog, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
But at that point, it doesn't matter if you fight 8.
Yeah.
I mean, with those last couple.
Yeah, a hero monster March as a drop into just about anything would be so good in the good side.
No, I've already seen. I think it was a 500-point tournament. someone take Treebeard, Merry Pippin, Beachbone, and Quickbeam?
Yep, perfect 500 point force, 9
Yeah.
might, and it's just going to beat the crap out. And what you can do with those monsters is deploy them in a triangle, so that then if anything goes remotely up to trap, you can just throw them at each other and knock all the other combats down.
Yeah.
Do that with any all monster list.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do with the Eagles.
I was going to say Eagles is the best thing to do that with. It's so handy.
And then if
for
you've
getting
got
out of tight spots.
Gandalf or someone with Sorcerer's Blast hanging around, then you do get charged by like 12 people. You just Sorcerer's Blast one of them. You may knock yourself over, but you're a monster and you don't really care. But then you hit everyone else in combat, and you know you're not going to like take any wounds that turn as a monster.
That's the main thing. It's not the fact that you knock them down; it's the fact that they can't try and wound you.
And then you all fight to stand up, which is always entertaining.
Yeah,
because you're all just on the floor going.
if you're Ed Ball, I remember him doing the genesis of his Rivendell Knight list. It was the end of series thing when the new edition came out, and he took Jay aside and said, "Look, if I take Elrond, Arwen, and Radagast and just do knights, and it's like, okay, you win, you get to stand up."
Yeah,
that was his exact phrase, and I thought, oh no, here we go, new fell beasts.
Fortunately, that one didn't take long to.
Jay's like, you do that, paint all those, have fun with it for 2 months, and then I'm gonna.
And he hasn't podiumed since that FAQ with Rivendell Knights.
There's not
or anything actually
for a while.
This was even a while
I guess
before.
that,
I like to wind Ed up about it. I'm going to see him this weekend, so I'll wind him up again. Be the first time in a while.
Number 3, CJ.
I feel like we're the same.
Eagle.
Oh, maybe not.
Radion Eagle number 3.
Yeah, we did a lot of that for last week. That's a brief recap for new viewers this week. Once you give might to a monster, you can do a lot of really nasty heroic combats and hurls and that sort of thing. And by giving a wizard combat prowess, you see how much a Fellbeast does for wraiths. Raddy does lose his staff, but he can just renew his eagle or other people in the, and he'll do a lot of killing at that point.
Most definitely.
Pretty versatile leader as well. Has he got heroic? He's got heroic defense, has he?
He has.
Pretty sure
he
he
does.
I think all the wizards do.
He does. I've used it. My Radion Slay got surrounded in contest, maybe, by Aragorn, King of the Dead, Legolas, and I was like, uh-oh. And Huckville, I was playing Huckville, and he was like, do you want to call anything? And this is not about 6 months into the new edition. I was like, give me a second. Looked to the book and went, heroic defense, please.
But at that point, they can just kill your Bunny Slay, can't they? Because it's defense 2. And heroic defense does not apply to mounts. I was skipping through the FAQ earlier today, though. So.
No, it doesn't apply to mount.
Essentially, he nearly killed me anyway. I think he got 2 wounds with the King of the Dead, and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So, Gethin, number 3.
Treebeard.
Treebeard.
Yeah.
Same as me.
Slightly better than Quickbeam in certain ways.
I actually don't. In some ways, I think he's the worst Ent, but he's the Ent that you have to take.
Yes,
and he's not like bad.
But he's for me. He's what? He's not extra fight, is he? That's Guahir and Eagles.
He's fight 8.
He's fight 8, so he's one higher than Quickbeam.
Are Ents fight 7 then normally?
Generally, yeah.
So.
But Beachbone I think's 8.
Okay, Beachbone's a fighting one, but the 363 on the heroic stats for me it's what makes him stand above the rest.
You do pay for it though.
And you can take Merry and Pippin.
Yeah, good little objective snatchers.
Yes. The only things that can remount.
I was at 7 Stones playing Recon with Theoden's Rides Out versus Fangorn, and Merry and Pippin happened to stone Theoden's horse out from underneath him as he was running past.
Did Theoden then get crushed by Snowmane? Because if not, you're at 7 Stones and your opponent is not a themey player at all.
No, I rolled more than a 1 for Throne Rider, I'm afraid. Unsporting of me. He hasn't got any cool special rules like the other 2 Ent heroes do, but he's just as solid as hell profile.
What's his heroic actions?
strike, strength, and defense.
Cool.
So even when you think you got the bastard pinned down in defense,
Yeah.
sod off.
Well, I'm probably going to need 6s on you anyway, so...
Well, 6
Yeah.
by 4s for normal guys.
Yeah. I did double check because we're going to talk about the Watcher later. If you do heroic defense while when you need 6 by something,
It's 6
it
by
doesn't.
6s, isn't it?
It does not make it 6 by 6.
No,
What it does
it's
do is you have to naturally roll.
You roll a
the
4 plus or 5.
Okay.
You can't might it or two-handed it. So
See,
6
these
by
are
6
rules.
would be a bitch.
So these are all rules which I think everyone knows, just because I've been using like during or whoever like with heroic defense for ages, and so like it was like one of the first questions I had like for Jay when it came up. Because initially I did think it was a 6 by 6, but no, it's just
So you just have to roll the natural numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So an Ent is -1 fight value and -1 courage, and obviously no heroics.
Yeah.
Compared to Treebid.
Nice. I still think an army of them will be cool. Still think
Well,
it'd be
Matt
very
Manslin won best army at Lair of the Dragon with the 3 Ents a couple weeks ago.
Which ends did he take?
The 3 named Ents.
That's more than 450.
I think it is. Is it?
Yeah, it's like 490.
Maybe he didn't have Beach. Maybe Beachbone was just normal Ent then.
Yeah, that would work. I've spotted the thing in the chat, by the way. Both are on Dwarf on Troll Brute. That's amazing. That's
So
only
good.
for narrative play, though, isn't it?
Completely.
I
forgot that
reckon
one.
if they actually had rules for that, like you'd see a lot of people like take it.
Yeah, I think so. I
Be
think
an
it's
Erebor
cool.
reclaimed.
Yeah.
Has to be an independent hero though, because if you took troops, you just trample on them.
Yeah.
Erebor Reclaim needs a lot of help, doesn't it? We discussed this at length last time.
Actually, new Erebor Reclaim do, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As in, if you go the Old Dane.
Old Dane
and
Thorin 3.
Young Thorin.
You can't call him Young Thorin.
Okay.
I can.
No, you can't.
There's already young Thorin.
Yeah, it's
I know,
so
I keep on
confusing.
doing that,
Call him Babby Thorin.
It's not. It's even worse now that there's another Bard as well.
Yeah,
It's
Like,
just,
it's Bard 2.
yeah,
Bard
in-
2.0.
Thorin 3, Bard 2.
Yeah, in the blog post I just released today for like the new Dale
Go through
profile
that.
analysis,
Subtle plug.
I kept on just calling him Bard, and then I got Michael Bradford to edit it, and he went through and put 2 after every single one.
Amazing. Right, my number 2 is Gwahir. I think he can do similar things to Treebeard, but he's got fly.
It's just better.
The 2 attacks is
And
a
cheaper,
bit of
right?
Yeah, but
And he gets the same attacks on the charge.
Yeah.
And knockdown. So
if he gets countercharged, you will potentially be in a spot bother. But
that's just roll a 6 and you're fine, aren't you?
Thorin Junior says Josh Devoid.
Yeah. Can he be a
Over
junior?
that.
I thought junior was only when your dad was called Thorin.
Who knows? You can do what you
Can
want.
someone on the
It's
families
it's a made-up
FAQ
word.
team
Yeah.
let us know?
I'm sure that you could just name your child like you could just have a kid and be like Sam Junior. Who
That's
did the
got to be
junior?
that's got to be a
it's like an
special event. Is like you do family on family, so you have like the line of Durin versus like Elrond and like his like sort of family.
Okay.
Someone did a tournament or was going to do a tournament that was vaguely similar. And you had to have family members.
Father and that was
Oh,
one
yeah,
that we were going to do in the
yeah,
East
I
Anglia
remember.
League.
Yeah, I remember CJ talking about
Because
that.
it was like Denethor, Faramir, Boromir, Denethor, Boromir, Azog Bolg.
Boromir and Imrahil.
Yeah.
His uncle.
Aemir and
Imra.
Imrahil. Aemir and what a beautiful combination.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, there's lots of families on
and
the good side.
Eowyn
but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imrahil, Aemir, Eowyn, Faramir. There you are.
To be fair,
Job done.
you could go Elrond, the twins, Arwen, Aragorn.
Galadriel.
I was going to do that actually. Was Elrond and his children just
And
for something really different?
I've seen
Yeah.
someone, I think Tom Welsh played it at 450, and it hits like a train. Hits like, they just go, Nature's Wrath, Elrond and the twins. Cool. Right, crack on.
Yeah. I love the twins. I want to run them in more lists, but
Are they better on foot or mounted, do you reckon?
I like mounted.
We've got Ali, the expert on this, and they do gain more attacks on
Yeah.
foot. So
Depends on the list.
So Tom, you ran at one point. Bilbo, the twins, Aristor, Círdan, maybe, or maybe drop Círdan or Aristor. I can't remember. But it's suddenly like you've got the ring floating around. You've got you've got the twins with loads of stuff, and then you've got
Grenade.
yeah, and then you've got Aristor to be your general or Círdan to be your general.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Isn't Círdan a minor hero now?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he was
So,
running,
yeah.
he couldn't. It was
Which I always thought was ironic because once they did the you have to be a hero of valor to ally it in FAQ, he was fine
They
staying at
couldn't.
a hero of fortitude, and then like he in the same FAQ got put down to a minor hero, which I was just like, but you've already
good.
solved the problem once.
I feel like Círdan got done dirty. Like Círdan's
I mean,
one of the ring bearers, one of the White Council
Yeah.
members, and Jay just gave him 2 good profiles, who just gets put into the dirt.
to be fair, he's still good in the
He's-
Rivendell list.
yeah,
The
he's still
issue
very
is
good in
the
the Rivendell
Rivendell list now really struggles to work at certain
Mhm.
points levels because of warbands capacity.
Josh. The twins
Yeah,
are
I
best
like that comment.
mounted on the shelf in your room.
And I just love them because you just don't care about them, especially in the old edition. You just never made one of them your general and just throw them in and just see how much they kill.
Yeah.
If they die, oh well.
On Círdan, just so people know, I was ahead of the curve. In the last edition, when he didn't get a 3-point will or resistance to magic, I came second at GVHL 100 event with him. So I was well ahead of the curve because I always thought he had really good for tournament play selection of spells.
His spell selection is one of the best in the game.
Yeah.
Like he's got all the use. None of them are not useful.
Yeah.
So
He's always going to have something to cast.
yeah. So Alistar, you're number 2.
Radion Eagle.
Radagast Eagle. Let me spell it right. Excellent. Geffen.
Number 2 is Guahir.
Guahir. And CJ.
But 2 is Treebeard.
Truebird.
And then I feel like
We
you can just
have
fill
all
in the
managed to
blank.
have different lists though, despite
Yeah.
having only 6 heroes to
Yeah.
pick
Mm.
from.
So my top one is Radion Eagle. Yeah.
Nice.
Wizard on Mount. Yeah. Monster. That's the word.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
think Guahir's a bit more points efficient.
Yeah, Guahir as a drop into most good armies is just a handful. So
That's fair.
that's why it's my number 1.
Well, for me, it's not green unless it's with Rally's Alliance, so therefore it's not getting directed into any lists. But that's
Even
how
then,
I
I think I prefer Guahir.
play. Okay.
I just prefer having the 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate on a guy who's defense 8 than on the model who's only defense 5.
Yeah.
I think back before Nature's Wrath got like a smaller bubble, I probably would have pipped it to maybe Raddy.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. And Gethin, I presume Radion Eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we are, team. Let us know in the comments whose list you would go with. They're all slightly different.
I was going to say, to be fair, mine and Dewi's would be the exact same if I remembered Beachbone's name.
So you think all of us have got number 5 that's swapped. Number 4 is exactly the same on everyone.
TJ is the only one without a top 2 lockout of Eagles.
Yeah. Which is interesting. But yeah, cool.
Just traumatic memories of dealing with Treebeard as a drop in the previous edition when he could just be put in anything.
So I played him in the previous edition against Tom Bombadil and Goldberry, and so it was him and I think it may have been Guahir or just another. Oh no, it was him
Christ.
actually and Bjorn, and I ended up playing it with my Eagle army at Lords of Battle.
Oh,
I'm just like,
God.
oh god. It was one of the most Well, it wasn't interesting. Basically, I did a Sorcerer's Blast wound, which then got healed, and then I just ran away for the rest of the game, pretty much, hoping like not to get caught. But yeah,
That's the issue with those kinds of lists.
more
As
prevalent
in, like,
back in the old
the
edition
Tom
when
and
you only
everything.
had the 6 scenarios, and it was more
Yeah.
effective.
Yeah, I know some people don't like the allies matrix and the constrictive way, but to be honest, I don't miss those horrendous
I don't miss them at all.
mix lists. Yeah,
No, I don't miss them.
Here's the Shadow Lord, and here's some Reavers, here's some Morannon Orcs, here's Suladan. Have some fun. You're all dead.
I did it once just to see how well I would do, and then like I got like a podium at a GVHL 100 event, which I think I'd only done once before. At that point, I was like, yeah, I can do it if I like go as cheese balls as like half the others. But now you don't need to. You can take whatever and podium really. So
I
Like
just like the
whatever
creativity.
Legendary Legion has just come out.
well, actually, the Legendary Legions are starting to begin to dominate. Although we haven't had any 100-pointers yet, so it'll be more interesting to see if they continue to once those big.
Preston the first 100-pointer?
Wait, actually, was the one in Ireland this weekend? Although the Irish don't know how to play, so.
Whoa.
I hope Michael's watching because he told me to bring my A game, so I presume that was me and slag off the Irish. But yeah, there's Preston this weekend, which relatively small turnout of 20, but
that's relatively normal for Preston, isn't it?
Preston's weird. Like
It used to be bigger. I think.
well, no, it seems to be like I remember it was only a couple of years ago. Like it sold like completely sold out, and then it like seems to like switch year on year. But I think because of when it is in the summer, it sometimes just falls on a date that people are on holiday or like this year Ardicon's the weekend after,
yes,
and COVID. So
right.
Yeah.
Is it FAQ time?
No, it is profile time.
Oh yeah.
So,
Let's pull out
on
Ali's
Friday,
I need to find these.
You've
all
got
of
the,
Jeffen's opinions are now mine.
So,
well, no, it's just because you've got the.
No, they're all
profiles
in one place.
yeah.
I've genuinely done that a couple of times when I've been like trying to quickly find something.
So on Friday, just gone the 6th of August, King Brand, Bard, Prince Bard, and the Knights of Dale went on pre-order from Forge World, which means all their rules came out on downloads. So we will go and look at them now. They'll flash up on screen for those watching.
They are. I saw a confirmation that they're available to. You can use them at Ardicon.
Okay.
So a clarification about that. Don't know about Preston though.
No, you can't use them at
Preston.
Oh, actually, saying that, Preston said that the FAQ changes haven't come in, so I'm assuming the new profiles won't have come in either.
If you can get hold of them and paint them for Preston, I would be very, very impressed.
Yeah. But basically, there was a cut-off date for Preston, which was like the end of last month for any new rules and profiles.
Yeah, which is very strange as there's an FAQ at the start of August.
Well, what was more strange is the list submission date was a week after that rule that came in. So it was like, in my head, they should be at the same time because...
Yeah.
But yeah, so just means that I may have to put up with Rangers of Aphelion for one last
tournament.
I was saying that in the thing about it was funny how 3 TOs decided to go, we're going to say that hobbits are compulsory, and then that was exactly what Jay decided the solution should be.
See,
I know.
It's actually me and Dewi are behind the scenes. Like, we've taken Jay out.
I will have a discussion if I can get hold of him at Articon.
And
and see if he was already thinking of it.
Put it this way,
Jay.
he will say yes. He was always going to do this. Like it was a plan before he even like wrote the rules to do this eventually in FAQ.
So right, let's move on.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, let's move on from slandering the rules writer a little bit, but he's a good friend of ours. So
he is now. He's FAQ'd Rangers.
So Brand King of Dale. 110 points. He's got the keywords of man, Dale, infantry, and hero. That's the race of man. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. and he's a hero.
You're already on shaky ground with the comments you made earlier.
He is a hero of legend. So he's move 6, fight 5, 3 plus shoot. Strength 4, defense 7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 5, and he's got 3/1 for his heroic stats. War gear of heavy armor, sword, shield. Heroic actions of resolve, strike, strength. His special rules. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. Lord of Dale. He's got 12-inch standfast. Very good. And Stoic Fighter, both active. At the start of the fight phase involving Bran, check to see if he'd be trapped. Should his side lose the duel roll, with the exception of if a friendly model can make way for Brand, so you can't trap him yourself. If Brand would be trapped, he can reroll a single d6 to win the duel roll, and a single d6 when rolling to wound.
So you can trap yourself, but that's to stop you just putting a spare support in a shield
You
wall.
know, so if you can make way, you have to make way.
Yeah, so
usually you don't have to in the game
Yeah.
if you don't want
Yeah.
to.
So essentially, if he's in a shield wall and you put 2 spears behind him, he is trapped,
Then you're trapped, yeah.
which is a clever, sneaky way of doing it. But yeah, what do you think, gents?
Well, according to this article, no.
So for all my opinions, visit the GBHL website, www. I think he's pretty much, from what I can tell, bang on points-wise to profile.
Yeah.
He's a nice cheap hero of legend, which is handy, especially when we come on to some other profile in a minute. There's not much to say other than I think there will be an FAQ slightly required for a special rule.
Regarding...
So I've already seen it come up about if you're charged by a cavalry model.
Yeah. Oh, that one.
Are you trapped
see that one.
or not? Which arguably it's there going because it's when do you become trapped? Because if you're surrounded, you're obviously trapped.
There's a bit of precedent for that with the Warg Marauders, because the Moria thing is you get plus fight value if your opponent is trapped. So they were trying to argue Warg Marauders charged an infantry model. If it wins, it's going to go prone. So should it have? And the ruling was no.
I was going to say you check to see if you're trapped at the start of the combat.
At the start,
correct?
You're right.
Yeah, so I can't quite read it. When does it say that you get the extra dice? Is it?
It says you check at the start of a fight.
If you would be trapped at the start of the fight. So yeah, you are trapped at the start of the fight.
Yeah. So I would say you probably don't actually then, if the Warg Marauder one.
Yeah,
Cavalry.
yeah.
I don't think...
if you get charged by cavalry, you don't get the reroll.
I also think that's going to be intended.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be an intended thing.
I don't know, because generally it could go either way. I would lean it based on precedent going that way now.
Because then you could also argue, in this position, I'm not trapped. However, if we do these fights first and I back away to here, then I will be trapped.
Well, that's fine because it's at the start of the fight involving Brand.
But
so
anyway,
not
at the start of the fight phase.
Yeah.
So
as I also actually discussed in my article, I say discuss like I was talking to someone else. It's just,
I can imagine you talking to yourself as you did it.
Oh yeah.
You should do that, an interview with yourself.
Oh, I do. Like it's generally much better than the one that Dewi did with me.
If you want to hear, I was going to say, if you want to hear an interview, Ali talking to himself, find his interview on this channel.
The question was, how'd you get in the hobby? 1 hour later, Dewi says his second line. What was I about to say? The whole thing though with that special order is like, I don't think you want your general to be trapped, assuming he is going to be your general as a hero of legend.
That generally doesn't become your choice if he's trapped.
No, but I mean, it's not going to be a rule that you're going to play to try and get.
You're not actually going to put the spare. You're not going to put 2 spare.
And when you are trapped,
you might want to do it.
It may be if you can orchestrate it. But
so you're against two warriors who are defense 5, defense 6 or lower.
Yeah.
Contest of Champions. You throw them in. You put 2 spears behind with other spears either side, and you call a heroic combat.
So he's got the spear support, but he's trapped by another spear behind.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Because then you've got your 3 attacks. If you've got a banner nearby, you get.
I was going to say you get 5 dice basically.
Yeah, you can get. Well, you've
6.
got 5 dice, and then you've got a reroll to wound. So
it's a very specific.
Granted, it's
situation.
Granted, it's niche.
Also, I think if you are in a position where you are trapped, I don't know, 8 times out of 10, you'll probably rather shield, just because you get the extra dice. If
Yeah,
it's
six
Not
dice.
well in this situation where he's got 3 dice, can re-roll 1, banner 1, get a spear support. You're rolling 6 dice to. I don't
Yeah,
think you
but
need
then
to
you-
shield at that point. 'cause-
But then remember, you get a sphere support and a banner anyway, if you're shielding.
for shield, yeah, but if you have got the higher fight value and you're rolling 6 dice to win,
Oh yeah, no,
I don't think
I'm
you'd
more
bother going.
thinking like in a situation where you'd probably be trapped and don't want to die.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Josh is
basically,
taking the
it's
piss at you.
who's what of me?
Yeah.
I don't think you want your general to be trapped. Hot takes coming from the Guardians
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
He's
dear.
kind of respectably hard to put down for 110 points in a
I
leader.
think for basic troops, yeah, he's
This
pretty
is
good.
the dwarf for me that goes, well, he's only defense 7 and 1 fate. That's pretty low.
I saw that you said he was like squishy. I was like,
Yeah.
Well, if you actually win the fight and get to do some good strikes on him, then yes, 1 wound, no, 1 fate, 3
I
wounds.
think
yeah.
for me, like if a strength 3 model can wound you on a straight 6, you're
Mhm.
always vulnerable to bad luck with only 1 fate. Because bearing in
Yeah.
mind, you've only got to take 1 wound,
Yeah.
and then that fate's a 50-50 and you've conceded a VP.
Yeah.
Whereas
His
if you are
weakness would be
defense 8,
monsters.
if you're only against like 1 or 2 dice, then maybe it could be worth going for the trapped thing just for the extra reroll, especially if you got 5 value. But if you're against 4 dice, then yeah, I don't think you want to trap yourself. You don't have to shield; you could just fight normally, but it's not worth.
I think that the 4 dice, if he's
careful
against
gun show.
sorry, that's just generally how I just chart sometimes.
Get a license for that.
With the with the 3 dice from him, a banner and a spear support, so that's instantly 5, and then you've got possibly a 6 if you lose. I think it's a good
3 might.
If you've got the spear support, I'm presuming you're trapping yourself most of the time.
With the banner.
But then you've got obviously the banner nearby as well. So
yeah. Maybe the banner is the thing doing the blocking
trap.
at the back, so it's as far
Yeah.
back as possible.
Yeah.
I think it's very much a rule that I don't think you're going to lose a lot. When it pops up, it's going to be really useful, but it's not a rule that's going to happen every single turn, every single game. You might get 1 use out of it.
Yeah.
Put it this way: if he was 110 points and didn't have that rule, I'd still think it was a fairly balanced profile.
Yeah.
Like, as in, he'll be more boring, obviously, and
Yeah.
a little bit worse, but it's still.
It's like Courage 5-3 will the 12-inch stand
See,
fast.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that bit actually in a minute when we do Bard, because there's an interesting thing for me.
Well,
I
we can
remember.
we can move on to now because they're both on the screen at the same time. So we'll chit chat with everyone.
So Bard is another one of. Has anyone else noticed a massive increase in trend in 3 attack 2 wounds heroes?
Yes.
Since specifically like the new team's been in place.
So off the top of my
Arathorn.
did Arathorn have it before?
Yeah, he had it before.
I think he had it
I
before.
think he was original, and either Dewi possibly was, or did he gain an attack?
Is he not 3 wounds?
Potentially.
Don't know, Arnold.
No, he's got 3 attacks, 2 wounds.
Okay. So the ones
but-
I can think of that are new: Gorolf, Thorin 3, and Bard 2.
Gorof's only 2 attacks. You're thinking
Orcs, 2
Zagdish.
attacks.
No, Gorof's 3 attacks.
No, Gorof's
Gorov is
2-handed
the-
+1, 2 attacks.
The guy with the 2 blazes, 3 attacks.
Zagdish is 3 attacks.
Gorolf.
Gorov.
He means the Dunlending
The
guy.
Dunlending guy.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah.
Gorolf.
Right.
Shut up.
Yeah,
there's
I thought you were
there's
talking
too
about
many
the
new.
Iron
I like it.
Iron Skin then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Iron Skin, Young Dwalin actually came in sort of. I mean, it was before this edition, but the same rules writing team with 3 attacks.
Okay.
2 wounds.
I think it's different.
Yeah, but because it was a thing that never existed
Raza
previously,
Yeah,
really.
Raza.
So
there's only
Delgamar.
there's only one that I can think of that's 3 wounds, 2 attacks.
Forlong.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
No, Dalamir, the Corsair leader, isn't he? 2 attacks, 3 wounds.
No,
I thought he was 3
he's only
wounds.
2 wounds. He's 3 fate,
Okay.
What's,
and he's 3 attacks as well.
what's Sternhelm? Sternhelm 3 attacks, 2 wounds.
Correct.
with Mary.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah,
correct.
because they're a hybrid profile.
I don't know whether I
so-
count that one though, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, there seems to be a continuing trend of if you're a named hero of valor, there's a good chance you're going to be 3 attacks, 2
Cancer
wounds
Kings
now.
and the Hood Kings, of course.
Unless
yeah,
your
'cause they
name
went
is
up.
Faramir.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense for Valor because like
Yeah.
there is a thing with if you just look at the stuff which was carried over from last edition, the fortitude to Valor named heroes, the stats are relatively the same. It's
Yeah.
basically just like Faramir's more of a leader, so he gets a couple more
Yeah.
troops.
I'd almost
Whereas now
say
you get the extra attacks.
Valor falls into 2 categories now, in the sense of you probably would be a legend if there wasn't that guy who's a bit more of a legend in the list, and then you get the sort of
Like
the general
Boromir.
like lieutenants.
I was going to
like
say, you
Bard and that.
mean you would be legend if your dad wasn't still kicking around.
Yeah.
Is Rivendell the only list with 2 legends in it?
No.
Yeah.
Trying to think of any
Rohan?
exceptions. Rohan's got Theoden, and that
Just
is
Theoden.
it, I believe.
Unless
is
you-
Valor.
Aeolus Valor, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helm is Helm. I guess
Helm is a
just-
legend.
Well, Helm's stuck in his own
Yeah.
Can't
list,
he still-
really, but yeah.
Can't he still go in the Rohan list? You just
He-
can't take named heroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's Ael the Young?
He's a Valor.
Fair enough.
Just
He,
Anyway.
he is a legendary hero, but we do not grant you the rank of hero of legend.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
my
Gandalf
favourite
the White,
meme.
of course.
Yeah.
And after White's Valor in Gondor, isn't he?
Yeah, no, just saying he's 2 attack, 3 wounds.
2 attack through and good shout.
Yeah.
We've got some justice for Faramir and justice for Amdor shouts. in
Uh,
the chat.
uh,
Wait,
And,
doesn't Dale now have 2 legends?
No, Gyrion's only whatchamacallit, Valor.
I think
Well,
is he?
Tyrion might be legend, but it's
No, he's
ones
Valor.
that you can play at the same time. So you
How do you
can
think-
play
Oh,
Gil-galad
yeah,
and
yeah,
Elrond
yeah.
at the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
but
Are
none of
any-
the others.
Are any of the White Council or Fellowship?
No, so
Gee.
Fellowship, Gandalf's a legend, Aragorn, Boromir, Legolas, Gimli are Valor,
Valor,
and
yeah.
White Council, Saruman
Saruman.
is legend,
Yeah.
everyone else is
Have-
Valor.
Have
But-
they already?
I thought there's Lady of
Oh,
Lightfall. No, she's not.
Howard. Oh no, wait, that's the Legendary Legion though. So 'cause
Yeah.
you can have
Suladan
Suladan
and the
and War Leader.
Good
I got
exception
really
there.
excited then. Anyway, Bard,
Moving on.
the
yeah.
second,
Bard's
Prince
the
of
second.
Dale.
Go on then, run through it, Annie.
So fight 5, strength 4, defense 7, attacks 3, wounds 2, courage 6,
Mhm.
might 3, will 2, fate 2. So 1 less wound than his daddy.
Fate, though.
Extra
More
fate but
courage,
loses
though.
a point of will. Yeah. So this is a really weird one that I was
Yeah.
about to like. Courage 6, but Brand is courage 5, who has a rule about basically a last stand and a 12-inch stand
It's not his
fast.
last
Yep.
stand.
No, but I mean, I'm guessing it's recreating him and Dane fighting atop the
Mhm.
hill.
Yeah.
Um,
But you think Bard rallies, I assume would rally, like,
you assumed.
Yeah.
I
rally
don't
the
think
troops
enough is
when
written about it.
when Brand dies. So
Yeah.
Unless it's Hilda's descent and just
Yeah.
running around with a spear and a cloth.
Are you
Around
saying
the-
Hilda shacked up with
Well,
Bard
Hilda,
at some point?
She got a big promotion.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Hilda shacked up with Bane then. I was like,
Uh,
that's risky at best.
Oh.
well, Bard's wife died in mysterious, undisclosed circumstances, didn't she?
And remember,
Hilda stabbed her to death.
To be fair, Hilda gives you +1 to wound while charging,
Oh.
and Bard receives +1 to wound while being charged. So I'm not saying like they're related at all, but
I also just noticed, because I've been going through a lot of profiles today, these heroic actions have got sort of no rhyme or reason to the order that they're put in. I did think at one stage, are they alphabetical?
Yeah.
No.
Oh
Just
no, I've noticed
this-
that.
yeah. Actually, on heroic actions, this is another thing. Like they both got strikers.
hmm
They probably should do.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that Bard has defense, other than just to make the profile better. Yeah, because like often like
There's a reason usually.
yeah, it's one of the ones which usually has more of a reason to it. I think, but
Resolve makes sense. And I've noticed as well, I don't know if this is just coincidence, but Jay doesn't see, or the team, I should say now, because Dan's now working there as well. They don't seem to like giving named heroes march.
No.
No.
No, and it's kind of nice because it does encourage a bit of variety. You get the captains actually used. Otherwise, a lot of forces you just hear all the named heroes.
And in all honesty, a lot of what I'll call the profiles you see dropped in a lot are like Boromir of Gondor or stuff like, because he's good and he gets you march. And then the reason why Bolg is really handy to drop into like my list is because he has march anyway. So I don't want to say a captain tax, because I actually think captains are good, like in certain lists, but evil heroes seem to have march a lot more. So Celadan, Gothmorg, obviously your Ringwraiths, unnamed ones, and like there's probably more I've just gone and forgotten, but they seem to give evil heroes march all the time these days.
But
Dane's got it for some reason.
Well, that's what makes Dane actually so good, in my opinion.
Do you think that makes sense though, right? Because they were just like, they got the message from Thorin and were like, gotta go, gotta go fast.
It's
not like Thorin and his company marched across like Middle Earth.
Well, they didn't run. They weren't going.
They ran half of it if you watch the film.
Well, Thorin's company get march.
No, but for some reason they forget how to march by the time that they get to Erebor.
It's because
they're all in armor.
They're shacked up in a hole.
Yeah.
But no, I think a lot of the evil heroes having march is because they lead armies that travel a long way and quickly. So that doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, I actually really like the fact that only captains are the main people to have march. Because, like you say, otherwise captains just would not get used at all. There's no reason for it.
Theoden's got march.
Yeah.
He does lead
and
Gamling
Gamling and Deowine.
Apparently Balin has march.
Yeah. It's the main thing that actually makes Balin's too many points, but the fact you get march means that you save points on a captain, so it's not as...
And Gimli.
Gimli doesn't get march.
It's in Balin's points, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the Gimli tax.
Because even Gimli's actually a bit pricey, because you pay for specials to go with Legolas, which you can't take in that list anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going off topic.
No, but
I started just talking more about dwarfs than I am about Dale.
On the topic of Gimli, we can just do this fast. Do you think he'll be in the new book?
Probably not.
Like in an army list or like a legion to allow him to actually go with Erebor?
If they do an army list, yes. If he won't be in a legion, though.
No, because he was fighting.
No, but if they do an army list, so as in it is
I see.
Kingdom of Erebor, like it would make sense for him to have him and Gloin.
Because it wasn't a baby and then turns up a Rivendell. Like he's going to have fought at Erebor and stuff.
So if it's its own individual list, he probably should. If it's a Legendary Legion, he probably shouldn't be.
They might even add it in.
He won't be in Legendary Legion, I can tell you that much.
That's what I said. Probably shouldn't. I mean, Kingdom Moria, he shouldn't be. If we're honest.
Yeah, but then he'd be like the only Fellowship member that's just got nothing to do with any of the factors.
That is genuinely why he got put in that list, because
really?
I know. I think. At least from what I've been told, like it was a game where you have to have Gimli leads troops somewhere, and they couldn't really do it with Durin, even more so than Balin.
Josh is just listing all the named heroes.
I was gonna say, Josh is going crazy.
Irolas.
Thanks, Josh.
Irolas.
King of the Dead got march.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He has march and strike. Irolas in Minas Tirith has march, which I don't quite understand
because he's a Citadel guard and he's definitely not just working inside the castle all the time. But, there's a lot of stairs to go up and down. To be fair,
you got to march around the streets, right?
Yeah,
the border.
Patrol.
More good model to I mean Braga is not on there and a few others, but
does he have march?
There seems to be
very few heroes of valor with march.
Oh right, that was the criteria. Yeah, I was going to say it seems to be for armies that struggle with the number of heroes that they get in. So
I guess Merry and Pippin kind of have to have march, otherwise the hobbits are screwed because they can't have captains.
Forage, but
I was going to say, is that like that's one of the few lists where there's not captains?
I think it's the only list with no captains, right?
Woes' Army of the Dead, Sorry, you mean a proper army.
That's a good point. I mean, I'm talking about hobbits, so
Rangers,
Eagles,
Rangers of the
Ents.
North.
would you not call the Rangers of the North themselves as captain?
No.
Ask.
It doesn't say
No?
captain in the profile.
All right.
Anyway, what his Wall of Blades thing
So-
to go
Yeah.
with the knights. What are we thinking about that as an application?
I think it's more useful in theory on the knights, not that it's not
Mhm.
useful on him.
Mm.
But the problem is when you've got a free attack hero,
Mhm.
you usually want to be charging so you can maximize and get the best situation possible. The one
Mhm.
thing I did think though is if you say charge into a vulnerable enemy target or set up a possible heroic combat or something like that, when you move first, it means anyone who's actually deciding to countercharge you, because you'll get it's +1 to wound against anyone who's charged you. It doesn't matter if you have charged.
Mhm.
It's then a thing to make them think twice, because it's like, oh no, actually, I'm now just going to give him easy
Yeah.
kills.
It's like the Toriel thing, right? You don't countercharge Toriel because you give her
Yeah.
more attacks.
It's similar to that. Like rather than more attacks, you just get easier to kill.
Here's
But it's
an
only
So
those
when
specific
you-
models.
So when you win the heroic move off and you want to try and, if he's called a heroic move and you want to try and stop him, you got to send somebody in, but you've
Yeah.
charged him, so now he's going to get the bonus. So you've got to contribute some serious resources to stopping him, then just getting an easy
Yeah.
combat through.
It's harder to pin him down, but also usually if you pin a free attack hero down with one guy, you would expect them
gonna
to probably
kill him.
die.
Yeah.
It just makes it more of a certainty. So it's kind of like, it means that he could probably call heroic combat easier, but
Mhm.
then again, it's sort of like,
Here's an interesting thing I've just thought of. If a Black Shield Shaman shatters his spear, he does not get that rule.
does it
does
it say
strikes
specifically
with spear?
With spear, yeah.
There's a
Still
way.
got a sword, lucky bastard, but yeah, he can't get his...
Actually, that's a thing to mention when we get onto the knights as well.
Well, they don't have swords.
No, they do.
Okay. So they can feint if they want to.
Yeah.
But you lose. So yeah, you charge in and feint. You
But
get charged your spear.
Yeah, like one of the things that when this first popped up that we had a discussion in the Discord about, because quite a few of us jumped on to discuss the profiles.
Yeah,
and
they
the
saw you and
FAQs.
me were chatting, and everyone wanted to get involved.
You thought he was quite pricey, didn't you, Ali?
I still do.
110.
I don't think
No,
he's
hundreds.
like. He falls into a category for me. It's like he's not pricey to the point where you don't actually include him. He's just pricey where I'd probably go brand first.
Yeah.
Or if I wasn't taking brand, I'd probably go Girion, excluding like allies sort of.
Yeah.
Would you do a captain and then bard too?
Yeah.
So you get the march.
Yeah, so he's my third choice hero, pretty much. Which means you're probably still take him in a pure Dale list at 700 points or whatever. But
the fact he's fight 5, which is a good fight value for a hero. Defense 7, 3 attacks, 3 might, and 2 fate. For a start, that's good. And then his actions with strike and defense make him better. And then his Wall of Blades being like, cool, if you want to try and take him out.
Well, isn't Aemir the same stat line, except for having 3 wounds, 3 will, 3 fate, and the same points?
Yeah,
this
is where the comparisons start to get a bit. Once you're at that 100 points mark, and this is actually what Barlin suffers with as well. You're competing against a lot of good heroes, like very well priced heroes. So you got Soledad, you got Aemir, you've got. I mean, he's still only like. What was it? I've forgotten who I was going to say there. But like, it's just a lot of heroes at 100 points. I feel like when you don't have that 3rd wound, you need to be doing something particularly special, and he doesn't do anything overly special.
But I think it comes down to the fact that Dale troops aren't that expensive.
Yeah, so this is where in the list
8 points.
Well,
shield,
actually, Warriors of Dale are kind of expensive, but because Brand
yeah.
isn't expensive,
or Girion,
and captains
or
are well priced,
yeah.
and the Knights of Dale are quite nicely costed, he's then viable because you're kind of the like 5-10 points maybe you're paying too much for him. You've saved in everyone else.
Yeah, it's like when you look at the fiefdoms, troops, and heroes. Like
Just going to make that comparison.
The heroes are relatively cheap because the troops are relatively expensive for what they are.
This is just slightly flipped.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So.
Corsairs, Isengard, Harad are all similar, where the heroes are reasonable and the troops are pretty solid and about 7 to 10 points, and you can just hoard the hell out of them, and that forms a good army.
Yeah. Which is where I think these guys fall. But basically, if you're allying or low points, he's not the one I'm taking. It's pretty much.
It's Brand or Girion, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, even Dale captains are pretty good.
How many
I'm pretty sure they're
60 points?
No, I think they're 50, where they don't have a shield or a bow or anything like that.
CJ, to the book.
Grab the book. You carry on.
And then, I think they're 5-5. It's been a while since I've looked at them properly.
Captain Adale is 50 points with fight 5, 4+, 4, 5, 2, 2, 4, 2, 1, 1 march, and you can get an Esgaroth bow for 5, which is a bloody steal, and a shield for 5.
And they also become shoot value 3 with the army bonus.
Yeah, I noticed Bard 2 here is shoot 3 and no use for it.
Brand's the same.
Yeah.
But I think
that's
just
always
wonder if they
scenario
get the wind lance.
Maybe. I imagine it's just scenario play because there's lots of models which you can't get shoot weapons. But have you got the Knights of Dale?
Yeah, we'll move on to them now. So the Knights of Dale is the next one.
I was going to say, have they confirmed that you can actually have these guys with Girion?
So in that box,
let's quickly go back and we'll cover the alliance quickly. If your force contains Brand or Bard 2, then it may not also include Girion. Additionally, ignore allies matrix for Dale. Instead, there will be historical allies with Erebor Reclaim, so long as it contains Day and Ironfoot or Thorin 3. There will be convenient allies with Dead of Dunharrow, Fangorn, Fellowship, Fiefdoms, Halls of Thranduil, Lothlorien, Minister of Misty Mountains, Rangers, Rivendell, Rohan, the Shire, and Wildmen. They'll be impossible with everything else.
Why are they convenient with Shire and Dead?
Because they're alive
at the same time.
Yeah, because they're alive at the same time.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings armies era are all yellow, and so are all the Hobbit ones.
Yeah,
because in theory they could have fought together.
Yeah,
it just
the whole thing is historical. They definitely fought together. Convenient, they were alive at the same time, so it's possible that they could have gone and fought together. And impossible is just no.
Yeah, that reasoning they do not apply to evil though. With evil, it's like you're all red unless there's a good reason not to be.
Well, you're a goblin and then you're all yellow.
Yeah.
Yes, weirdly, Moria has a lot of yellow allies just because they've been there for ages.
I was going to say, I think it's more the fact that evil don't get on with each other, let alone the good armies. So,
to be fair, you see just as many evil armies fighting each other as you do good armies in the film.
Yeah. So I think that's
and evil hobbits armies all are basically green, despite that not really making any sense using consistent logic.
I think it's literally because of in the Desolation of Smaug, there's like a crossover between when Azog's Hunters is becoming Azog's Legion. Which I would have thought would be Dark Powers of Dol Guldur. But the thing is, you don't have Bolg or Azog in Dark Powers.
No.
And they are still leading. So I think that's where the green bit comes in. So arguably, maybe you should have Bolg and Azog as Heroes of Valor in Dark Powers and then not green.
That would be grim.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't get Master Battle.
Oh, you wouldn't get you wouldn't get Master Battle.
You wouldn't get the bonus for the +1 shoot value and stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
It'd basically be hunters with some extra stuff as well, because you wouldn't get the ogres or the trolls or the bats.
Yeah, you get Gundabad warrior. You
get the warriors and
that's it,
the orcs. Yeah.
Put it this way: if that ends up being an FAQ, me and Dewi are actually the secret rules warriors.
The last world champion, he's currently doing really well on that Hobbit era evil mixed grill, isn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he prefers, basically he does hunter orcs with the
Lingering
choice
Shadow
meats from the other list. Pretty
with
much.
Bats and spiders.
Yeah.
It's mercenaries and Lingering Shadow, isn't it?
Yeah, mercenaries are great.
And he's started dropping at bats now as well.
Yeah.
Whereas I've gone like a proper alliance, as I call it, of Bolg with Gundabad Orcs and then Hunt Orcs, sort of 50-50.
That's an interesting point made by Richard. Dark Powers should be the overall list with Azog's Hunters and Azog's Legion as legendary legions.
I don't think so.
I'd go with that.
I don't think
I don't think so.
I don't think that all the stuff from Legion should be available to like a Dark Powers thing. Like I don't think
true.
The Legion list with the Gundabad Berserkers, the Trolls, the Ogres, all that stuff. I think is
you
good
don't
in a
see in
separate
Dark
list.
Powers at all.
I think it's better in a separate list completely.
You could possibly. I think it's fine
really
as 3
tricky
individual ones.
Yeah.
You could possibly combine Dark Powers and Hunter Orcs.
The issue would
maybe,
be, imagine
but then
taking
you don't
like,
get the Hunter Orc bonus.
Yeah.
But like Nazug, Yazneg, and Fimble leading Hunter Orc front rank with Gunbird back rank. That's a pretty scary horde army.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've got Bolg with Master of Battle, so.
But it's like you could do it at like lower points and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah,
you wouldn't
well,
need-
I've
and then
done
you
it at
could
550.
Stuff.
So you
Yeah.
can get like nearly maybe 27 models. Bolg, Fimble, 50% Hunter Orcs, 50% Gundabads with Spears and Shield and a banner.
Yeah, his
Pretty
Bolg
good.
absolutely wrecked me. Was it 5 or 550?
It'd be 500,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
It's my elves just going 3 dead a turn. Dun,
To
dun, dun, dun,
be fair, you
dun.
did have Kurdan, so I was literally there going, well, no one can charge here
Yeah.
apart from
Apart from
Bolg.
Bolgy. I would like to pick your brains at some stage because I like Moria over Goblin Town. One of the big issues with Goblin Town is the courage stuff, but I think you'd probably be able to teach me some ways to mitigate that a little bit. But we'll move on to the Knights of Dale, are we?
Yeah, we'll move on to the Knights and then we'll have a little break. So they're kind of they're just an elite Dale troop, really. 11
Courage 4 is good.
11 points. Yeah, the difference between Dale Warriors and the Knights is the defense and the courage, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the special, obviously. I was surprised by the Courage 4 and 11 points. I thought they were going to be Courage 3 at 11 points, personally. I still thought they'd be reasonably costed.
It'll be interesting to hear their like synopsis in the book as to whether, I presume they're like the bodyguard or whatever.
They're probably like the elite sort of.
Yeah.
They're in some Alan Lee painting, so they had to make them. That's what the more behind them.
You know, which is even more annoying that they didn't do the in the same painting, the one with of old Dane with the axe at his side. You know,
Yeah.
because I prefer that pose to the one we've got. Not that I think the model that we've got is bad, but I just thought Dane with the axe to the side was really cool.
Do a conversion.
It's not the
Exactly.
easiest one to do, and it's one of those annoying things where, because it's actually like a fairly expensive model, it's like, I don't want to fuck this up.
Well, the
you
old
could
metal
quite-
Barlin you can get, and he's got axe to the side, so you maybe do something
You
with
could
that.
quite easily.
Do you mean Gimli?
No,
No.
the Barlin.
The
Oh,
old
Barlin's
the
like
axe
that.
to his
I know,
side,
but
yeah.
it's because he's holding it like flat sideways like that.
All
So
right.
it's not like Barlin is.
You could quite easily tilt his hand down and therefore drop the axe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably do it if I had motivation.
if you could be asked, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right, Gimli would be a good model for that because
Yeah.
he's got a few that are like that.
Gimli would probably be better and just
Also,
change the head.
bear in mind, there's probably like an Alan Lee drawing of Goblin Town with bows.
Well, no, you saw it in the film. Goblin
Yeah,
Town.
Yeah.
There's another thing. Thank God that's
Give
another
it to
thing.
me. Can you imagine you get like 30 shots in a turn? The only thing I could think is you make them shoot value 6.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that means they then can't shoot and move.
Is there anything shoot value 6 in the game?
Yeah.
That
think
can
Angmar
actually
Shade
has
is.
that actually
few
has a
bits.
bow?
I was gonna say, I
No.
don't think anything that actually has a bow,
no.
but there's gotta be stuff that's 6.
Like,
Like a warg or something.
purely because I'm definitely someone who plays loads of scenarios and thematic things. I need to know, so I'm going to submit this to the FAQ.
I've played Denizens of Mirkwood Battle Company, and yeah, they're all shoot value 5, even the wargs and the giant spiders.
I would imagine because you can't roll higher than a 6 and you can't roll lower than a 1.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But
Although in battle companies, you can get the rule where you can move full and still shoot, or move and not get a penalty. So
you can improve your shoot value as well.
Yeah.
So
it's all broken fun.
Yeah. So
and that's our thoughts on the Knights of the Day.
So yeah,
what applications do you think you can make for that Wall of Blades rule? Especially like you could filth it up as an ally, surely.
So Ewan has just asked the question: who would you guys suggest is the best ally with these new models in a Dale list?
Army of 4.
So that would include.
I was gonna say, is that
would discount Brand and Bard.
Yeah.
And take Girion instead. But Erebor Reclaimed with these guys, I still think can be really good.
The issue is it's not the Erebor Reclaimed you want, because it's not like, I mean, you could take it with Dane or stuff like that, but I think you're paying a lot of points. You've got the Iron Hills issue when you do ally them. You're paying points for shield wall and stuff like that, and then basically you can do that in Army 4, but they actually are cheaper then.
Yeah.
And Army 4 has arguably a better hero selection for more varied points.
Yes.
At the moment, anyway.
Go Thranduil's Halls, because they don't have a lot of D6, so you can stick them in the front row with +1 to wound, and then you get the fight 5 in behind with the Elven Blade, and potentially Thranduil offering even more +1 to wound.
I was thinking Lothlorien over that, because
But shall I tell you why I don't like any of those? Is because you don't get your army bonus, which means that you don't get +1 shoot value for Dale.
Yeah.
Which is.
But you're getting shoot 3, strength 3 elf bows.
I was going to say, if you put an elf bows on the second rank, you're not going to have any Dale archers really.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the Dale are actually bringing to the elf list.
The +1 to wound on the front line and defense 6 for Mirkwood.
It's more making the Dale list better than making the elf list better.
The thing is, like Thranduil's Halls, you get +1 to wound anyway with the back line. You've already got defense 6.
Only within like 3 inches.
It's a small bubble.
But I mean that's all the time rather than you have to charge. Or be charged rather.
Yeah.
Like, basically, I hate elves, so no.
I just think it's better as a pure list. I think you mentioned it in the article, where basically you just spam front rank the knights and then 30 your bows on the back. You just sit there shooting them. If they don't come towards you, you keep shooting them. If they come towards you, you just stand still, keep shooting them until they charge, and then you get the +1 wound.
I think this is like probably the first one of the few lists where if your opponent calls a heroic move, you don't have to think that hard about not countering.
Yeah, without actually having built your way to play that way.
Yeah.
There needs to be a reason for you to counter it, rather than just generically doing it.
But the last thing actually on the allies, though, the reason why I think they go well with Army of 4 isn't necessarily to benefit Dale, but the reason why Dale used to be a crap ally for Army of 4 is because in order to get the shooting, you had to sacrifice your ability in combat so much by getting, just for 5 bows, 10 like Warriors of Dale, who are just as expensive pretty much and worse than Warriors of Erebor. Whereas now you get Knights of Dale, who are still a defense 6 and actually hit quite nicely, got the +1 to wound and other options. So you don't have to worry about that anymore, and you're not sacrificing too much to get the benefit that Dale bring.
I'd offer one other potential ally in Minas Tirith, because if you can use siege engines or Minas Tirith's bowfire in combination with Dale's bowfire to bring people to you, if you then have, for example, Boromir with a 6-inch banner making the backline fight 5, and it's all still reasonably cheap because it's Gondor, and that just adds a bit of killing power to Gondor infantry, which they lack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dale actually, they don't need to ally with anyone, but they do benefit other lists.
No, well, Gondor's army bonus is kind of
but
take it or leave it.
I don't really see what you ally into Dale.
I see what you mean.
To benefit
Cavalry.
Dale. So in my head, it's always going to be like a Dale warband in another army rather than a warband from another army in a Dale army.
Yeah, and I think currently the best one is Army of Thrall, but with Girion. So and it's the Knights. It's nice to see a warrior profile that makes that difference. rather than a
literally,
hero difference.
Yeah.
The heroes are nice, but these guys are actually the thing that Dale needed.
Yeah.
Something like defense 6 and something that gives them
Mhm.
a bit of a punch. They've always been quite good on numbers, and
You can just
they're not
hoard
bad.
them out,
Like,
can't you?
yeah, and they're really good on shooting as well. It's just they never had that option to like fight in
Yeah.
a shield wall
There is
particularly
a
well.
big issue though.
What's
No
that?
banner.
But there was
troops
for,
can
like,
take
I
banners.
know the warriors can't, but
Yeah,
they can't.
they had the option for a banner for a good 6 hours. These guys.
Yeah.
Before, Jay
Yeah.
realised he made a mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it got changed.
Yeah.
And
This
then
is
the
Yeah.
website are like, look at our knights riding out with their
Yeah.
invisible horses.
So,
Yeah.
how,
Well, I don't know if knights. Well, these are like we should probably have said at the start. These should be considered official, but there might
Mhm.
be a tweak.
well, it says they are official. I'd be very surprised if there's a tweak. If there's a tweak, it's because there was a misprint on this.
I
Bearing
think
in mind
the-
when the book probably went into production.
Do you reckon they could get horses?
Has anything changed from the experimental to
so.
the printed?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
The only
Me
thing that
neither.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if Brand actually went up to Courage 6 and that it's a typo, or Bard went down to Courage 5. I can
Okay.
see that being a typo. Like there'd be a simple typo rather than an actual like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
thing. But yeah,
No, I think
Uh,
I think they're pretty cool.
the shield, well, the Wall of Blades. I was actually thinking the other day because I was thinking, would you have 2 ranks of these guys in an
No,
army?
no, too expensive.
Yeah.
I think the heroes are cheap enough. You can.
You could.
So you go 1/3 bows.
Yeah.
And then you've
Mhm.
got like 2, and then because the thing is, once you got the guys on the flank as well with this rule, when you do charge, anyone who counter charges you
Yeah.
suddenly, like we mentioned with Bard the second, like is actually giving you benefit. So
Mhm.
it's a kind of like good thing. So if you do have those guys on the flanks as well, I think it may be beneficial.
Does go like shark teeth as well then, because if
Yeah.
the front ones die, you just get more of these
Yeah.
coming through.
Yeah.
It's like
Right,
playing
the-
Will Champion's Hunter Orcs. I was killing them, like, oh no, here come more. Just an endless
Yeah.
wave of 8 point
So
bloody
it's-
2 attacks.
Like-
9 points for a warrior Dale spear, or is it 8?
Spear and shield, I think.
Spear and shields.
Grab.
I'm just trying to work out how many more points it is because you say
The
it might just
Warriors
be
of
worth it.
Dale are slightly expensive for what you get, in my opinion.
So it could be worth just
Are
upgrading them.
they what similar to a ranger? What are they?
Fight 4, shoot 3, 8 points, 9 with spear. Yeah.
Do
I'm pretty sure it's
do they come with shield?
No,
Or is it Dale?
And that's what
no,
seems
you have to pay for it.
Got there. Warrior of Dale is 7 points.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
so you have to pay for a shield.
4/4 34113. You have to buy a banner, Warhorn. I'd actually forgotten they could buy those. Esgaroth bow for 2, shield and spear 1 each. So yeah,
So it's 2 points more to get the special rule.
Yeah.
special rule,
and-
extra
and
courage, and defense.
Defense.
So
Defense,
that's a good
yeah.
deal.
So
to be honest.
these guys are better value.
Yeah.
You're,
I don't.
I think,
I
you
think
lose
it's
like 2 or 3 models maybe.
yeah. As long as
more.
you're not like really skimping on models, which I don't think you will do in Dale because your heroes are cheap enough. You're probably going to be wanting at least 50% Knights of Dale because there's no reason not to.
So you think
Well, they cost a fortune. That's why
yeah.
not.
so simple like 450 points, because that's like kind of a good. Anything higher than that, you can quite easily fit in what you want. If you go Brand Bard, it's 210.
I was going to say
You get
Brand a
captains.
captain.
Yeah.
But then you've got. I'm just thinking, can you flesh out their warbands enough?
So you can
So
get 30 models if you go
240.
Brand and a captain.
Yeah,
So that'd be
240 divided by 10. Yeah, 24
actually
models.
Brand and a captain, and then 30 of these guys.
Surely,
That's
Well,
pretty.
what-
surely
we were saying,
500 points.
Don't make me do math. Close. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah,
missing 20
I'm
points.
giving the
Put
captain a
banner
bow
in.
and a spear.
and a shield.
Essentially.
A shield rather. But yeah, that's a solid 500 point list, to be honest.
We'd
I mean,
mentioned
you admit,
crits recently that an Australian person has been winning a lot of low point events with Dale
yeah.
Spam.
They have always been good at low points, actually, just
I've
because.
played them at 450 before they had these. Nathan Ward had two captains, Girion, and a butt ton of Dale Warriors.
Yeah, because you get it's like Rangers of Aphelion, but only 1/3 bows, but the bows are strength 3 instead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we all know how good Rangers of Aphelion were,
Yeah.
and then these guys are basically that, but they have shields occasionally.
Yeah. Nice. I think that rounds it out pretty nicely. A quick tidy up of comments. Josh Devoy says Shelob, half trolls, Gundabad troll, troll brute, Gundabad ogre, spider queen, and giant spider were the only 6+ values you could find. Most of them Hobbit era models. Interesting.
But none of them could shoot.
But
So.
but none of them
Yeah.
have got shoot stuff. Is Gundabad
Got
troll?
shoot stuff.
Has Gundabad troll not got throw stones?
They do, I think.
They may not do because they got scythes on their hands, so they may not be able to pick them up.
Yeah.
Or they're too
True.
busy with a big club.
Yeah, the guy who
They do not have throw stones.
Nice.
Interesting.
Get an extra wound instead.
Yeah.
They eat the stones.
Yeah, they eat the stones.
And courage 4. To be honest, I
Breakfast.
think they're really, really good trolls, but
That's what I
base size
think.
is horrible.
The Mordor troll should be that profile as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Model, yeah. There's certain
The base size screws them over
monsters
massively.
which just need buffs.
So to reply to Josh DeVoyson about strength 3, defense 5 is difficult to make work, unless if you're doing good v evil, and then at which point you're laughing when you're defense 5 and you're facing all those strength 4 troops because you're like, well, I'm glad I didn't spend those points to be
Yeah.
defense 6. And equally, there's a lot more
Oh,
defense 4 and 5 stuff. So
Half
being
troll.
strength 3 isn't that bad.
Go on, Louis.
there you go. Half
Yeah,
trolls
but you
count for
never
rot and
count as
Howder.
moving, do you, in the Howder?
Unless you move. So if
Never
you
count
move-
as moving unless you do.
But can you move and throw a stone in the Howder? I don't know how that rule works.
Yeah, that's a good
Not-
point.
not
Throw stones
100%.
might be. You have to
But
stand
if
still.
it genuinely you can move and throw a stone, FAQ on its way.
Mhm.
Right, gents, we will take a couple of minutes break and we will be back to rock through the FAQs. So we'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. See you in a bit.
Yes.
And we are back with Ali eating some kind of crumble, and now I really want crumble.
A summer fruits crumble.
Summer fruit,
We're
yeah.
very jealous.
Ali is eating something that he has no idea what the contents are.
Looks
But
like
he's
Lucky
muted.
Charms cereal, but he
be
can't argue
honest,
with that.
How much stuff do you eat that you actually know what's in it?
An apple's got an apple in it.
Fruit.
Like pudding's got blood.
An apple often will have like a worm in it. To be honest.
Often. Who are you buying apples from?
One-
You might
One
need
I
to
don't
The
check.
actually-
peddler from
you might-
Snow White.
You might need
One,
to
I don't
change your
actually like
supplier.
apples. Two, I've seen two separate people have like some sort of like animal in there or insect.
I've never found like worms or anything. I found like an apple with like holes in it or whatever. I'm just like, nah, that's going in the bin.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
touching that.
I'm really, but then with like, well, very much on topic, with my fruit and stuff, like if it starts to go a bit squishy, it's going in the bin.
What, even like a
Like-
peach that's supposed to be squishy?
Well, no, but if it's meant to be like that, but like grapes, I eat like the first or second day and then I don't touch. Like a moment that a grape starts going like a bit squishy or like a bit sour, I can't do it.
To be fair, I kind
But-
of agree with Geffen. I much prefer firm fruit to a
Yeah.
soft one.
But if it's in something like a crumble or if it's in a smoothie or something like that, I don't care. I'll eat it.
Yeah. How
It's
strange.
just if I'm actually having the actual thing, it's got to be
Yeah.
perfect.
To be fair, like I pretty much eat everything. The one thing that like is a bit strange is I like bananas. Don't like banana flavored things.
Oh, I'm the exact same.
Oh,
I hate
same, yeah.
banana flavor.
Like so strange.
Can't stand it.
It's like Coke flavored sweets or whatever. They don't taste like Coke. Just call it something else.
No, they taste
We'll
like
call
Coke.
it cola, don't
I was
they?
going to say they taste like cola because
It's
Yeah.
cola.
Coke's a specific recipe.
If I ask for cola though at a restaurant, though,
CJ's disappeared.
Plug in the nuts.
In China, they take the skin off the grapes to eat them. To be fair, I have done that before, and it's very satisfying to eat. However, it takes so long.
I swear that was just a thing that like some rich guy, like emperor or whatever, got
Yeah.
like his servants to do because he was taking the piss and bored.
Young grapes. It's basically, you've displeased me, peasant.
Yeah.
Also, Spike Milligan was in the Second World War, and he often got put on spud peeling duty because he was a mouthy comedian. And he said, I used to peel them all the way down to like tiny pea-sized potatoes, and then I'd put all of it in the soup anyway. Right, where are we
He's had a
starting with?
42-day-old egg on. Oh, jeez.
So eggs, especially if you put them in the fridge, eggs last a very long time. Especially because you
Random
cook them and
fact.
things like that.
If you rotate an egg every, I think it's something like week, it increases the length of its lifespan by, I don't know, something like double.
A week.
No, so if you just keep on in the fridge rotating your eggs every so often, it will make them last longer.
What you need is
Although-
an automatic like rotisserie thing,
I was gonna say
Yeah,
like a bingo machine that's on automatic.
don't think that would work very
Yeah,
well.
Comes
I
up
was
with
gonna
a
say, I
mess.
feel like that's playing with like fire with eggs if you're just constantly.
You open the fridge and there's just egg yolks pouring down the shelves. Oh, there goes
this
the
is the
cheese.
7th time we've had egg number 2 this month.
Right.
You don't want to eat an egg 2 times in 1 month, in my experience.
Right.
Hard-boiled egg, eat half of it one day,
Yeah.
half of it in 2 weeks' time.
Shall we crack on to the facts?
The facts.
The facts.
So
So
we go through every last bloody one of them.
we'll,
God,
we'll,
we have
The
to?
magenta ones.
we will just go
Yeah,
through.
We managed to talk nonsense long enough for me to finish my crumble. So
There we are then. So yeah, we will only go through the magenta items because we're assuming everyone has read all the others.
has anyone ever used the word magenta
Yes.
like outside the FAQ, like in an official document that you've seen before, that they specifically go magenta?
Printer
I've spoken
printer
about
ink.
inks, yeah.
Printer ink.
Magenta,
Because it-
cyan, yellow, black.
Yeah, yeah. Or you use magenta.
you d-
You use
but who-
magenta
but
far more than you do
when
cyan.
well, who when they're like just typing a document goes, "Oh, I've highlighted it in magenta for you."
I mean, magenta's a easy colour to pick out. That's what it's
Yeah.
used. So
Yeah.
I assume that
but-
a lot of documents would do that when there's like
it's fucking pink.
it's
Call
magenta.
it pink for you, Ellie.
Like, that's
Hot
not just
Barbie
me.
pink.
Like, there's 12-year-olds who are going like, why are you talking about the evil guy from the X-Men or something?
Oh dear. I
A
was going to say,
dyslexic 12-year-old.
Forgot that guy called Magenta.
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, he wears
God.
magenta sometimes.
Throwing
To be
everyone.
honest.
Oh dear. Right, let's
It's like
crack.
herding cats, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
Let's-
put a document which is all of the FAQ in one coherent, so you can search it and everything. You don't have to click between all the links. That's in the Discord in the hobby links.
That is
Wait, have
what
we
that,
actually done something
you're
useful for
convenient.
people?
that is what I have open, Mr. CJ. So we can just
Ding, ding.
rattle through.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
So, yeah.
Does the
Josh,
search function still work on it?
yeah, it's a PDF.
Cool.
PDFs are smart nowadays.
I'll search Magenta. Yeah, Magenta comes up, so we're all good. So, right, the first one. Firing a siege engine. Change the last line of the paragraph to read, note, if a model involved in a fight is hit by a siege engine shot, then determine which model in the fight is hit by the initial shot in the same way as a normal shooting attack.
Yeah.
So, that's,
Used to be a whole combat was hit, and now it's not. Fair
yeah,
enough.
because, well, a lot of the siege engines go, one model gets hit with a strength 9 or 10 or whichever it is, and then everyone else around it gets hit with whatever. So, yeah, it's the same.
Although, quick question, does the entire combat still get knocked prone for where that
Yes.
applies?
Yeah.
But there you go.
Well, to be honest, most of the time it's within that area effect, so it doesn't really matter either way, I think.
Do you think Jay ever regrets making siege engines relevant?
I would say
all
no.
of these FAQ questions, which are never ever gonna get asked or anyone care about, as soon as like Assault on Helm's Deep or like.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I mean-
so yeah, this is an errata question. So this is a change to the wording, or a change to the wording. So,
Did he write the rules for the Iron Hills Ballista?
Yeah.
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 Okay, I'm going to leave
That
it
was
at that.
that was his first ever book. Was
There and back again.
There and Back Again when the Iron
Yeah.
Hills Blister rules came out.
You
Yeah.
bastard. He's had to nerf it 3 consecutive FAQs.
I
Steadily
don't know.
make it worse.
I feel like this one's more aimed at just general siege engines generally.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of this one.
I think it kind of it comes down to that Isengard Siege Ballista, and you go right, which
because
model
that's what
gets
I was using it for.
which model gets flung. So
Which I never thought, like, because I've had it, because when I played Jasmine and how we did it is how it now is. Like, I never did cross my mind that it should be anything else.
Clarity. I think it's more clarity.
Yeah, well, you know, one thing we didn't get more clarity of in this errata FAQ is Black Dart.
Yeah. Right.
What's the query about it?
Well,
Is it not clear from last time?
The last.
Well, it was
no,
never
the last,
clear.
The last FAQ made it a little bit more confusing.
Yeah.
Essentially, the last FAQ insinuated that if you targeted a horse, the rider did not get to resist.
Yeah. In an answer to a question about Shadowfax, it then referenced this thing about Black Dart, which no one played it that way, so the reference was completely lost on everyone.
Yeah.
And apparently that's how we all should be playing it.
And also,
But we know how to play it now.
Well,
But
it only works
new
with Black
players
Dart.
still don't.
That technically only works on Black Dart. If you do any other spell, it doesn't, because there's no FAQ for all the other spells. Me and Josh Devi were talking about this. Like, you could actually argue.
It depends. It
something
depends.
else.
The issue is the one sentence in Black Dart already is it says if it's a cavalry model you have to pick the rider or the mount.
Yeah. So, but
Whereas
that most
others
people
don't.
most people read that is you can only target one, as in.
Yeah.
But then when you're resisting spells, it goes the model may resist, which is
Yeah.
where everyone goes.
The
Well, the model
confusion.
is always the combination.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah,
it's like-
because there was never an FAQ actually about that, it just was an answer to something else, which wasn't even specifically answering a Black Dart question.
Yeah.
Made rates a lot better. So if you Black Dart Shadowfax, do you have to use Shadowfax's will or Gandalf's or both?
So you have to use Shadowfax as well.
Right.
However, if you Fortify Spirited yourself, that still affects Shadowfax, so Shadowfax would still get the benefit from Fortify Spirit.
Which
cracking.
you do.
And this partly came from a question I asked in the FAQ about Shadowfax has heroic stats. What the fuck do you do with them? Like, explain. Because the White Warg and the other heroic stat mounts have a special rule where Shadowfax doesn't, to explain how it interacts. But
Cool. Right.
Okey-dokey.
Let's move on from the last FAQ and let's go to this FAQ. So
Josh
we're always current.
yeah. And my thing just flickered. I
Mm.
hope everyone's still with us. If
I think so.
If a special rule allows a model to re-roll multiple dice, such as Bane of Kings, does the model have to re-roll all their dice together, or can they re-roll some dice, see the results, and then re-roll the rest? If a single special rule allows them, the answer is if a single special rule allows a model to re-roll multiple dice, they must re-roll all of them together. However, if a model is able to re-roll multiple dice from multiple different special rules, then they may do so individually. Remember, you can never re-roll a re-roll.
So this is mainly a kick in the teeth for Shelob, the Betrayer, and the Spider Queen.
So this was an FAQ question I asked last FAQ.
Okay.
Specifically because me and Dave Farmer were trying out the Sifungul Legendary Legion.
Yeah.
But it wasn't actually in reference to Shelob. It was because I was using Gothmorg, who had his once turn rerolls.
Yeah.
So I had surrounded Shelob, and I was there going, Gothmorg's like rolled a 5 to wound.
Yeah.
And I was there going, can I keep that as a 5 and reroll the other 4 dice? And then might up that 5 if I don't roll the 6s on the other dice, or do I have to reroll all of them?
Okay.
So that was the context is why we asked the question, because it's there going when, because normally you can roll a dice one at a time, but when you have to reroll all fail wounds, as it's been FAQ'd, is you would actually have to either might it there and then or reroll it. Although I don't know if you could actually still might that 5 up to a 6 and then reroll the failed wounds.
I wouldn't.
You would just have to commit earlier to the reroll, to the might.
It does mention might, doesn't it?
Might's kind of like you do it and then you do nothing else after.
Okay. Yeah, usually that's how it works, isn't it?
So, I would say no. You'd have to might it then and there, and then you do your rerolls. It's like with Fate.
Yeah.
It's like with Fate.
Yeah.
You roll them one at a time. If you roll them one at a time, you have to might it. If you roll them all together, you can choose which one to might, etc.
Yeah, that was the context in which I asked the question anyway.
Okay.
Can't you banner reroll, like roll 2 dice?
Yeah, the banner reroll was done before might.
Banner's always before might.
Mm-hmm.
That got FAQ'd, I think, last.
Always before might.
But the mighting rerolls. So
wounding. So it's basically
why it doesn't apply here.
Because you have to reroll all fail wounds.
No, it's whatever the special rule says.
Yeah.
So
it's usually failed wounds.
Yeah.
There are a handful of things that say you must re-roll your failed wounds, which I think is mainly going to apply to the Betrayer, and then there are some which say you may re-roll failed wounds.
I understand now a bit more. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the bit that I was confused up with the must. Okay, so you'd have to might the 5 because it's technically a fail.
There's also certain situations where, say it's Contest of Champions, you had Shelob. You don't want to kill the enemy leader with Shelob, but you want to maim him. So you want to do 2 wounds, but you want to save that 3rd wound for Shagrat to do the wound because he's your leader, so you get the extra VPs.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to only reroll 1 dice if you've only done 1 wound. You would have to go all in or not.
Yeah.
Josh says he's more confused than ever, so I'm glad that we provided.
Yeah.
I think that's just the FAQ itself, because he sent me like a list of the FAQs he'd gone through and like, what the fuck, or just like, oh, I thought this is how it worked, or I think his answer to that one is this is strange.
The issue is they've tried to cover multiple special rules, which I think is the best way to do an FAQ.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is a bit confusing.
Yeah. Which is why I tried to give the context, and there may have been someone else who asked the question, but I know I asked the question then.
So, next one. Do cavalry models gain bonuses for charging when in deep water? No. Let's move on. Pretty self-explanatory.
No one lets us play deep water in the game, do they, Dewey?
No, I do not. Sod off, Alistair.
Even when it was a negative for me.
What's the next one?
Forever in chasms.
Huh?
Does anyone ever play like chasms? Isn't like the ones where if you fall, you just die?
I've done a couple of times.
Lava's the other one, yeah.
Lava, yeah.
Lava's the only time, unless the scenario says the bridge of Khazad-dûm is over a chasm. Don't fall down it; it will end badly. Next one is Commander of a War Beast for Dewi.
Yes.
Or if like your gaming mat table is slightly split and you decide that there's just been an earthquake.
What happens if a Commander of a Beast a commander of a war beast is paralyzed, the commander will be paralyzed as normal. Whilst the commander is paralyzed, the war beast cannot move.
So Josh's do chariots keep their impact hit when in deep water? I guess they
yeah,
must.
because you're still charged. It's the same with Impaler. It's the same with Impaler.
Yeah, Impaler will keep it.
Yeah.
He's not get the charge bonus.
Yeah. Whilst the commander is paralyzed, the war beast cannot move. However, any friendly model in the Howdah that did not make a shooting attack may attempt to aid the commander that is recovering from the effects of paralyze. So that's interesting because you don't have to be in base contact.
Yeah. So all 10 of the Haradrim are going,
They'll
wake
count
up.
it as input.
Yeah.
And to save time later, that's the exact same for the Ironhill's chariot as well.
Yeah.
So actually, because you know how with the Howdahs and that you usually end up with 2 people who can't do anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not really going to get a good shot without
They're
it
just
in a way.
to wake up people.
Yeah. They're literally the alarm clock.
Yeah. Well, it's even better in the Great Beast because not everyone can shoot. Like it's even more than 2 that cannot shoot a lot of the time.
What you need to do is convert the models so one of them's got like a clock and one of them's got like 2 symbols.
Oh, the monkey.
If an
unengaged hero?
Yeah, if an unengaged hero model with a spear declared a heroic action in the fight phase, such as heroic strike or defense, and then is not subsequently charged in the fight phase, can they still support? No, a model that declared a heroic action in the fight phase cannot support.
So
it's essentially you're doing two actions.
Yeah.
You are either supporting or you're striking.
Yeah.
Or defending.
This was another question I asked.
Is it just? This
is all your fault.
But the thing is, I asked all these like 2 weeks before the last FAQ, and then I'd forgotten I asked them, and I was like, these all sound really familiar. But it's because I don't know why, and I don't think it's right. You can't do a heroic strike and sphere support or heroic defense. Like basically, you can't sphere support and call a heroic action. For some reason.
That makes sense to me.
Was that added this
But if you
edition?
can call a heroic action while you're in a fight, why not when you're just slightly further out of the fight? But then you can also still call a heroic action when you're not in a fight completely. So it's like for some reason there's something about spear supporting which is way more mentally challenging than being in a fight or not being in a fight, and I don't know what it is.
I did used to put Grinner in the second row and strike in strategic locations just to get the fight value, but you're not allowed to do it anymore.
Yeah, there's very few. There's very few sort of situations you can do it, but it's also comes to effects like my opponent. So I think the reason why I was asking because it came up in another game against Dave Farmer. You're noticing a trend.
So Richard, FAQ is frequent alley questions.
This one is.
If it's a stupid specific, like nearly all of the questions I asked have actually come up in a game. Is he called a heroic combat, or I did, and I think it may have been Hilda actually, not Hilda, Frida. Who's got heroic defense, and then so he wanted Frida to be able to stop. I think Fairdred at the time getting the charge bonus on the horse, but then he was aware that I was about to heroic combat and possibly charge Frida if I was successful. So it's there going, can he do the defense? If my heroic combat fails, then just spear support instead and cancel the heroic action. And basically the answer is no, you have to decide there and then which one you're going to do. The action.
I think that's fair.
I think what this also might stop
it's consistent.
is if Gil-galad is in a combat, kill stuff, and then he can't move somewhere and spear support, he has to charge something.
You can't do that anyway.
Yeah, his isn't actually
not allowed to.
He's got a spear that's not a spear.
I don't think you can spear support after a combat.
You can, but the guy who calls the combat can't.
Okay.
So if you've got a spearman in the combat with Gil-galad, they can move on to spear.
So that's where it just seems. I mean, it's consistent with actually the way the rules are written, but it's just a bit weird.
For me, you like a hero is either focusing on spear supporting or he's focusing on striking / defending, and I say he, she, whatever.
I just feel like if you're at the position of the hero and you can't keep like as a hero, you're going to be thinking about so many things in this battle because you're not only thinking about your going the realism thing. You're in a fight. You're looking at who's in front of you. You're looking at who's around, what your troops are doing, what they're doing. I'm pretty sure that you'd be able to spear support at the same time.
See, I would be on board with it if you couldn't call a heroic action while you're not in combat. But the fact you can call a heroic strike when you're not in combat
Yeah. You can call
implies
a
that you should
strength.
be able to do while you're spear supporting as well because you're not in combat.
For me, it's heroes can do one action per phase.
Okay, so then why can my hero who's actually in base contact call a strike? Because he's doing 2 actions.
He's fighting and striking.
But his strike is part of the fight.
Yeah, but so he's a strike as a spear support.
No, it's not. Because
Yeah,
you're focusing
it uses
on something
his
else.
fight value and his strength.
You're also doing less when you're spear supporting.
Essentially, I agree with this. We'll move on.
I mean, it's consistent. It's consistent with the way the rules are written. I just think the rules are a bit weird on this one.
Came out just along with Bard 2, who is very unhappy about the situation.
Yeah, he's got strike as well. There were very, very few spear models with
Yeah.
strike before this.
Position, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I don't see an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, next page, sorry. Let's wiggle that down a little bit so everyone can see
It's
it.
the one that says if a supporting model is in. Oh, sorry, I thought you were looking for it rather than.
No, you carry on.
Yeah. It's supporting model is in range of a banner. No other friendly models are in range. Can you still use the banner for that combat? Yes. Thought that was how it worked anyway. Lovely.
Wait, I've got a thing now on this.
Oh,
I didn't actually
God.
submit this question, but it does raise the interesting thing going, if you are a banner effect and you only affect, for example, for effects Erebor Warriors, but won't affect the lovely new Spearmen Knights of Dale. If a Knight of Dale is in range, but not an Erebor Warrior, do you get the reroll?
I guess no,
No.
because it has to be an Erebor model to get the banner effect.
I know,
Yeah.
but generally it is a sort of follow-on FAQ going, because this is the way.
You do that, Ali. You annoyed Jay. some
Basically, what
No,
needs
I'm
to
gonna
happen?
I'm gonna annoy Dan now instead.
Okay.
I'm assuming Dan's opening all these now instead of Jay. Like,
They need to basically get Ali as a tester. Like Ali needs to be one of the people that tests rules.
yeah, I mean,
Ali and Dave
possibly.
Farmer.
To be fair, Dave Farmer would be really good at testing because he just will read it and be like, well, this is the 7 different ways that this doesn't make sense. But yeah, no, but it generally, again, this is going to be a thing that would come up if I do my Army for Iron Hills Alliance, because that is a situation that will likely come up at some point.
It should be, if a supporting model has range of a banner or banner effect that affects that model, then jobs are good.
Yeah.
So, right. Moving on.
Just reading Josh's comments.
I've actually got a question for after this that relates to that, but it's when we've done all the FAQs.
Everyone says they should do a new rules
This is
manual
what I
or
was
whatever
gonna talk
to include it all. But how do you include designers' commentaries like this in rules?
No. Yeah.
God.
No, it will get to a point, and I've said it a few times in my opinion, that in a year or two you just need a new edition of the book, not with any major wholesale changes.
But that just includes all the FAQs.
It wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
It would. I mean, you change one thing, and then everyone will need it, and then it sells. Like
The issue is what they probably do is they'd make the book and they'd take down the FAQs.
Yeah.
Because
and also
it's a new edition.
with the erratas and stuff, because most of them being the army books, you can then just condense the army books or update the profiles anyway in like the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. But yeah.
Well, I do the ebook, so if all you did was have a little pop thing where you tap it and it's like, bing, here is the relevant FAQ for this profile.
They do that on 40k, don't they? In AOS?
I have no
idea. Don't play.
No idea.
But I imagine with Lord of the Rings, that's a licensing issue. So each time they change the product, they would have to go to a lot of different companies.
Literally everything they have to clarify through Warner Brothers, like the art on the box, even though it was just.
I know they even have to do it for the old GT rules pack, which is why I think it probably doesn't change pretty much every year unless if they have to.
Yeah. So next one: can an invisible model declare heroic actions? Yes. However, the allies cannot see the invisible model. The invisible model cannot call the likes of "with me, take aim," or any other action that would allow friendly models to join the heroic action. Invisible model may still declare heroic combat, but other friendly models may not move as part of the successful heroic combat. Kind of makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which puts a bullet in invisible Frodo and Bilbo using heroic moves to get everyone around or do cheeky heroic combats to slingshot people with basically a bat swarm and bard are going to beat anything. So
I think it's the heroic move where the biggest thing is.
Yeah.
Because usually if you got ring bear in combat with bard, for example, you don't need to do the strike, so bard can just call the combat.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If you've got the ring bearer in combat with another hero, the other hero will probably want to call the combat anyway.
And bard has free combats. Woohoo!
Because children.
Yeah.
Right, next, can a flying model cast a magical power that is flying over models as it's flying over models, or will it need to land in order to cast a magical power? The answer is a model will need to land in order to cast a magical power, although they may still continue moving after casting if able.
Fits with everything else.
Thought that was a given.
Yeah,
So
I thought that was how it worked.
There's a
I've never seen
potential.
anyone try that.
I remember a conversation coming up about it, but I think it literally only really became majorly relevant when Instill Fear came around, because where your actual starting position is suddenly very important.
Yeah.
Good shout.
Yeah.
It also might be a thing of people coming from 40k, because I remember, I don't know if it's current edition of 40k, but I remember that you would be able to move a skimmer or a flyer and you'd shoot at any point in your move.
Okay.
So you'd be like, I'm going to go here from here to here, and I'm going to shoot at this position.
Radion Eagle Nature's Wrath is another model which...
yeah, good shout.
Yeah, good shout. Going back to
also with magical powers. Next one.
Carry on.
They've stopped cavalry models from getting bonuses for charging when immobilized and transfixed, and I quite like that. That works thematically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I haven't used a wizard or a cavalry model much at all this edition, so I was there going like, I can't remember if that's just how I used to play it or not.
I thought that was a given.
But I generally it's when it came out, I was like, that makes sense.
Essentially, you can't do any active things.
I was going to say it's an active, right?
Well, I don't know if it is active because
it's not really
a special rule.
Yeah, the cavalry rule for knocking things down when you win the combat isn't an active or a passive thing. It's just what happens.
I assumed it just kind of just an active thing.
So yeah,
it's good that they've clarified that.
If that was if I was a TO and that came up, I'd be like, no, don't be so stupid. He doesn't get the bonuses.
Yeah,
it does raise a question though. If you can't use it because it's a special rule and it stops it, can Floy stop this charging rule?
Shut up.
Can Floy stop a knockdown, or can he stop like the cavalry bonus?
Depends.
Turn off monstrous charge, then
you can turn off monstrous charge.
Monstrous charge you could, but I just mean with a normal cavalry model.
Depends what it says.
It sets a precedent that
depends what it says in
that it is an active ability.
Depends what it says in
and I get slapped, but the precedent's there now.
Yeah. CJ, have you got the book in front of you? If you just look at Floyd's special rule, it might
Floyd's special rule.
Floyd specifically says active and passive,
but it might say special rule like in the profile because it's not a special rule; it's a game mechanic. That's how.
But I just mean as in that if immobilize stops the game mechanic.
Lawmaster, at the start of his move, Floyd may spend a point of will to negate an enemy active or passive special rule or the effects of a piece of war gear, with the exception of the ring, no line of sight, blah blah.
So an effect of a war gear, a horse's war gear.
Shut up.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. In that sense, then
So it should be able to stop it. Although it's just whether you count the effect of the war gear is that plus on attack and knockdown. I can't remember if it's in the same section of the main book.
I did use the horses of war gear as an excuse to try and shatter the steeds of enemy heroes with black shield. Or you could just go up to like Grit Fang and Wolf and be like, shatter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just exploding dogs.
So obviously, because we have Josh in the chat, we've got a chariot question. If you compel a chariot, does it inflict impact hits? And would camels as well?
Well, it works on the mimic, so I'd say it works on the chariot.
Yeah.
Dan and Jay have Ali's email address flagged up.
Put it this way,
Yeah.
That's what he's got on
genuinely,
Facebook.
if
Flag
they
to
want me as a
delete.
playtester, I can't send them FAQ questions. Because
Yeah,
they'll be
but-
like, well, why didn't you bring this up when you were testing it?
Didn't have enough time.
Laurie sending the horse to the glue
I've
factory.
just seen that as well.
The
dear.
Gorilla Glue Factory.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Gorilla
Can you-
Glue.
Can you shatter in a Hill's chariot?
No. I mean, it did clarify, by the way, that you can't shatter living walk here, so you're not allowed to just.
Chariot's
But
not
is a
alive.
yeah.
Can you shatter a
Yeah.
Howder?
Well, a chariot has got horses or goats, so I'm sure that would be.
Howder isn't listed as Wargear though.
Oh, is a Howder not? Okay.
And I would say because the chariot's actually got a profile, like as in wound stats and everything.
Oh god. So
So-
just a Gundabad shaman waddles up to a Moomac and like, I can get 6 inches. Shatter. And just everything falls down. Oh god. Right.
So Josh,
Yeah.
so I'm a hood raider that gets compelled, inflicts an impact hit, but doesn't get the charge bonus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I would
to be
say
fair,
that.
either way, it's a massive camel running towards you.
Even
Yeah.
against its will.
Yeah. so we will move on. if a-
Sorry, what was I gonna? It's to do with. Sentence is gone. Moved on. I'll come back to it.
Okay. If a cavalry model is targeted by the Shroud of Shadows magical power, then both rider and mount are subsequently separated that turn, with the mount staying on the board. Are both models affected by the magical power? Yes. Yeah, cool.
That was a
Yeah.
question I asked as well
Of
2
course.
FAQs ago.
Was it?
Yeah, because I was
When have
thinking.
you ever used Shroud of Shadows?
So I was thinking for Will's event, which was 1250 points, of taking the Necromancer, Azog, and Bulg,
Oh,
Mhm.
sweet Jesus.
because it was 1250 points, and I was like, that's a quick way to 1250 points.
Yeah.
Last
And,
So
one
were
last
you trying to
spend.
get a 2-for-1 where you make Azog invisible, then you detach them and they run off and do
Yeah,
horrible...
basically I looked at I was looking at Necromancer, which then made me look at Shroud of Shadows because I'd never really looked at the spell before, which then made my mind just go, what is every single possibility situation I can pull off with this? But yeah.
Cool. Right, moving on. We're still in the main rules manual.
God.
So, is the
The
Howder...
other ones are shorter.
Yeah.
I was going to say because
Yeah,
time.
No, the other ones are far shorter. Question: is the Howder of a Mummock siege target or a battlefield target? Siege target. I'm pretty sure it says Mummocks are siege targets. So, yeah,
It's
cool.
just clarifying that the Howder is a
Yeah.
foundation.
If
Just to go back to Josh quickly, so in Transfix and Compel turn off active rules, and Impaler is an active rule. That was the point I was thinking of.
cool.
So no, you can't. I never said that you could. Like,
Yeah.
it's not recorded or anything.
So, if a catapult shoots at a war beast, does it need to make an in the way for the Howder? Yes, as the shot will be coming from above.
Do you hit? Don't you just inflict a strength 10 hit on the rider on the mount anyway?
Doesn't count as a rider in a mount, I think.
Yeah.
Is it because it is a big enough?
Yeah.
Warbeast, I assume it'll be in that.
Interesting.
Wouldn't you just
'cause
aim
the-
for the Howder, take that out in one hit, and then the Moomac is riderless? And
But if you
most of
aim for the
time, you'll
Howder-
control it.
Like, is the in the way in the way, or is it like a rider mount in the way?
No, it's an in the way.
Okay.
It's in the way. See, all of mine, I'm not thinking of Mummocks, I'm thinking of Great Beasts.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I wasn't sure.
So at least to be honest, if you're targeting a war beast and it ends up hitting the Howder, you're not
Good.
going to be too disappointed, are you? Because
No.
you could kill it in one and then job's a good one.
Yeah.
So
And I imagine do you hit every single person on the Howder?
you will do.
So if they don't die from the impact hit, they're probably dying from the fall.
Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe not the Great Beast.
You'd be surprised.
Because
I mean, it's
Yeah.
still going to be, yeah.
it's still
I
like
think-
3 strength 3 hits or whatever.
No, so
Oh,
on
that's
the
about
on
right.
the edges it's 1 strength 3, which is still 5s, and on the top it's 2.
I think you'd be able to
And the
survive with a
commander
couple.
takes
Yeah.
3, I think.
But apart from the fact that you've deployed your Great Beast on like a couple of spires, and therefore you get the extra 6-inch drop.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua says the chariot charge rule is passive, so I'm still afraid of compel, as you should be.
But the good
Then
thing
we-
about chariots is they can't be directed like straight at their own guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. For you guys on Richard's comment where he put invisible Azog, does it
got
look
a
like a
loading
loading
there,
sign,
Yeah,
or
it's
is
a
that
buffering sign.
is that actually the emoji he's used, or is it
Yes. Yeah,
buffering
yeah.
an
Yeah.
emoji? Because it hasn't
It's a
been
joke.
moving, so I was just there going.
Okay.
So
A match play guide next.
there's no one there.
Yeah.
So the designer's commentary on the match play guide. We have a couple.
Mhm.
Me and Ali, this is me and you. This was.
Yeah.
If a cavalry model is on top of an ejector marker and destroy the supply scenario, and then loses their mount and does not roll a 6 on the thrown rider chart, can they still destroy the objector marker during the end phase? No, and it's no because they cannot do anything further that turn. That's what we ruled.
Yeah, I think that's what we've played it as.
Because they can't do anything else, so therefore it's a physical action. So therefore, no.
Yeah,
Assume
the
that'll
thing-
apply to dismantling siege engines as well. Be same idea.
I
yeah,
would
I
assume so.
imagine so. Yeah. Again, it was a thing that never thought about before, but then actually randomly came up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Can a prone model destroy an ejector marker and destroy the supplies? No. Thank God for that.
Yeah, you just hide behind something and then.
I can't remember whether that was just an extra one that I chucked in when I submitted it.
Okay. Well,
Just
it's-
because I was like, while I'm here,
Yeah.
may as well just cross this one off as well.
That's not anything that I've ever come up with, but imagine there's a long wall or a building and they just crawl. The wall's the better one, and they just crawl behind the wall. That seems fair. So that's everything for the designer's commentary from the match play guide. Moving on to the errata from the Armies of the Hobbit. The only one is Iron Hill's Captain options. Change the first option to the following. May exchange War Spear and Shield for Mattock for free. That is purely down to the models they sell.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
And it's instead of having to pay for the privilege now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or,
Privilege of losing a defense.
yeah.
Josh, you are a
And the spare.
disgusting man. Sorry. to see
I
this.
don't know because they no longer stay on the board. They get removed.
Yeah, if you disable it, you remove it as a
Yeah.
casualty.
Because
Because that came up.
at my
because of-
event.
It came up at another one as well.
Because
Oh, Catman's probably done it.
I
with his
think,
Iron Hills.
I think it
Yeah.
was Mark Kempster put an Iron Hills Ballista on a thing and went, cool. You're like,
Yeah. I
just-
think the one that I saw was Fog of War. He protected the siege veteran, put the
Calman.
siege in the corner, so the siege veteran was behind, can still shoot, but then no one can actually
Ah.
get through the.
That's horrible.
That's very clever, mate. It's very clever.
That's despicable.
It's
Uh,
like Jasmine. It's very clever and well done. Now you've
Yeah. Now you've broken it.
Yeah.
Now no one else
Now
can
it's
do
never
it.
gonna
Well,
do
no,
again.
that-
It's
that
a
was
one-trick
definitely
pony.
I
or
know
one
that
FAQ
Catman's definitely
pony.
done that a few times.
So, moving on to the Army of the Hobbit designer's commentary, as we covered earlier, same with War Beasts and the Iron Hills Chariot with Paralyze. So we will move on. Now we move down to the next one. If Azog is riding the White Warg and is infected by the Panic Steed magical power, will the White Warg remain on the board thanks to its Raging Beast special rule? Yes.
Who was arguing against that? Who was trying to go, here's
Uh,
50 points, boof.
This
Me?
is clarification.
No, just generally, because it says the seed flees, so it's like Radagast on Eagle. So I just always was there go, if it can happen to a 50-point Eagle, why not a 50-point Warg?
Because he's got the special rule.
Yeah,
'cause
no,
that
but I mean,
stays
as in
fights.
But I mean, it just says it's not saying the mount flees because he's been dismounted. It's the mount
Oh, it just
runs
says,
away.
yeah, it just does say,
Um,
to be fair.
Yeah, because in my head it's there going, Raddy's just controlling like animals rather than the guy gets knocked.
Scaring it.
Yeah, the guy getting knocked off is a byproduct of the beast
yeah,
bolting.
yeah.
So I actually thought it should be the other way, but
Well, the White Warg is fearless. That was its whole thing about, so
Yeah.
I assumed that Panic Steed wasn't going to work on it, but that's, you're right. It's not in the rules, it's just what you would thematically think.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Actually, if it said it doesn't run away because of fearless, I feel like that'd be a better justification than actually the Pack Lord rule.
Well, the answer is just yes. So
Oh, is it?
they've-
I can't
they've
read it
phrased-
specifically.
It says, will the White Warg remain on the board thanks to its Raging Beast special rule?
Does
But
Raging Beast give it fearless? Or?
I don't know. CJ's the one with the books in front of him.
Getting your money
CJ's
worth
not
out
going to
of me
have the
tonight.
books like
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw it away. White Warg, Packmaster, Raging Beast. If Azog dismounts, then he automatically stays to fight, and additionally will pass all courage tests for the rest of the game.
Cool.
So there you go.
So
But no, it's not a courage test.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but both ways, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't actually care. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
I thought it would be like he can run away.
Yeah.
It wasn't an FAQ I submitted because I generally just presume that's how everyone thought. It's very rare I play a Raddy versus an Azog on White Warg
Yeah.
at the moment, to be honest. So.
So a few Goblin Town questions next. What happens?
goody.
Can we skip these?
Yeah.
What happens if Grinner uses Swap with Me with the Goblin King, who is in combat with multiple enemy models, but due to his smaller base, Grinner can be placed in base contact with all of the same models? In this unusual situation, Grinner will be placed as close to the centre of where the Goblin King was. Grinner will still count as being in combat with all the same models as the Goblin King originally, even though he is not base contact with all of them.
Basically, all they've done is if you get your horse shot out from underneath you, it's exactly the same
Yeah.
wording.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
I
think.
would have ruled it that way. As I look at all of these as a TO and go, right, how would I rule it? And that's how I would rule it. So makes sense.
Makes sense.
When Grinny uses Swap with Me to swap places with the Goblin King, does the Goblin King's base have to be placed centrally over where the where Grinner's base was? No, although the Goblin King must still be placed so that his base covers all of the area that Grinner's base took up.
I mean, if the answer was yes, he'd never be able to swap into anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, you could
his
just
base
sit
would
on
overlap.
in
yeah.
combat anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you?
Sorry, guessing.
So if you've got Grinner surrounded by Goblin or something, there's no space. Can you still swap with me with the Goblin King?
There is a specific thing that says if there's no space to place the king, you can't do it. So
Oh, is it? I thought
Yeah.
you could squish your own goblin, like as in his squish goblin rule would come in.
yeah, he
play.
can walk
yeah,
over
yeah.
them, but
I think you can still
different idea.
Can you still squish them if you swap with me? But if you're trapping Grinner, it will be with enemy models, so therefore, no,
I find
you wouldn't be able to.
You know, but if the enemy model's in the front, because you don't have to go centrally, so you could have a spear support on Grinner, for example.
So
But
it
then
says
swap with me with the king, and then do you squish that spear support, or can you not do it if there's a spear
would
support?
It says if there is no room to place the swap model, you must choose another, or the heroic action is wasted. And then the Goblin King says, relentless advance. He can pass through friendly Goblin models, and anything he lands on is slain.
So walking through is he can walk through, but can't swap.
Not allowed to airdrop him. Yeah,
because there isn't space to start off with, which is
yeah.
yeah.
It should be a shame because that would make him a lot more annoying.
I think when he first came out, I remember Billy Fitzmaurice doing that, but then the rules would have been written slightly differently back then.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, does the contraption holding the Goblin Scribe count as part of the model in working out whether or not a model has line of sight to the Goblin Scribe? Yes, this is an exception to the usual rules regarding the scenery on the base of a model. Cool.
This is a really big nerf to the Scribe because the model, the actual little gremlin that sits with Jabba the Hutt, actually is this tiny, tiny piece on this model. So it's really easy to just find any piece of terrain and hide him because he's defense 3, 1 wound, 1 fate, 50-point liability most of the time. The fact that you've turned the fact you've gone from that to the entire thing means he is so much easier to shoot, so much harder to hide, to the point where I would almost immediately just go mercenaries now because it's almost impossible to hide him.
I do wonder who asked this question as well.
But you also could have loads of in the ways for him.
If you couldn't see him in the first place, then that not really. Yeah.
But what happens with all the people that have converted it? Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen conversions of him like hanging from a tree and things like that.
Well,
interesting.
Is the entire tree now the model?
Guess so.
At that point, GW make the rules for the model they sell. So
Yeah, I guess
it
as a
comes,
TO.
it comes
Well,
down
So
to
what
a
we're
TO,
saying is
but-
it's literally just a way of GW like making sure you buy their model.
No.
It's all a long con, as the GW conspiracy theorists will say.
I
a
think
bit
it's
of a
just one of
s-
those things where
Yeah.
you've converted the model, so you have to be like, I'm the. It is the whole thing of you can't convert a model to be like smaller or whatever.
Let
So
me put it this way:
you've-
it's no worse than when people put their hero on a giant rock,
Yeah.
like, and suddenly it's there going, you can see more equally, you can get shot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except in this case, Grin is just going to die now. I think it legitimately is
Describe, yeah.
something of a nerf to Goblin Town. And a lot of people were calling for that, so there you go.
I don't think it's a game-changing nerf.
It's
though.
not a massive. No.
You've
No.
still got a butt ton of other goblins that are.
Yeah,
on
like,
the board
put it
to
this way, it
start
wasn't
with.
the scribe that was making Goblin Town as good as they are.
To be honest, the fact that he can bring people on to steal objectives and basically you win by dying but holding the entire board.
Yeah. But my
Mercenaries
head-
will take over.
Yeah, you've got Masters to do that, and also you just leave the scribe at the back of the board, and as like it does it for the majority of the game anyway, and your
Most
whole
games.
army's going to be in the way for in the ways as Dewi
Yeah.
said. So it's a slight nerf, but realistically, I don't think it changes anything significantly.
No. not
Gonna need a much
really.
bigger thing to hide it behind, though, if you want to do that now.
Most people I've seen put it in some woods, which is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and then they convert it to look like a tree.
So, can a model with Chittering Horde special rule make special strikes when supporting? No.
Generally
Thought that was
surprised.
stated somewhere already. Who was trying to piercing strike from the
Yeah,
safety of the back row?
I remember this
think that's-
conversation coming up ages ago. And I genuinely thought it got FAQ'd a while back.
I did, yeah.
The other
Yeah.
one is you could probably two-hand from the back rank.
Oh, you can. You can.
Yeah,
two-hand.
you are allowed
Can
to
you
do
still
that. That was
two-hand? Can
part
you?
of the same discussion.
Ah,
I think-
gotcha.
yeah.
You can two-hand, but you can't piercing strike, stab, blah, blah.
Because actually, there's no thing to say that you can't two-hand normally when you spear support. It's just you don't get a two-handed spear. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Does the
very
war leader
clever.
have a two-handed spear?
No,
No.
it's called a long-bladed spear,
Okay.
Yeah.
which is something entirely different.
Mhm.
Then is Smaug a battlefield target or a siege target? Battlefield target.
And it is moving at the speed of a dragon flying, so it's not stationary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I don't see a problem with that. And when people, the thing that and not annoyed me, but yeah, it did annoy me. With the last FAQ and the bomb, with the you have to have two models near, like it explicitly says in like the siege, unless like if it's clear that it can be hit, then it's a whatever target. So I don't know how that ties in with the bomb.
Yeah,
Well,
or the scribe who can't move on his own merit. Although if you do heroic march, you add +3, so his
Yeah.
0 move goes to 3.
Because I don't know how the interaction between the bomb and Smaug now works. With the
If it was just
battlefield
Smaug, you
target.
can't blow it up.
Mhm.
Unless if you
but there's
shoot it.
there's a stipulation that says in the rules that says if something is big enough, like essentially make up a proper not a proper decision, but
I
a
thought you just
logical
said
decision.
if it was siege target. But
It-
in my
it
head,
says
I'm there
something
going,
else.
as we said, Smaug is flying around, a bomb on the floor,
Mm.
unless if he's charged it in combat, isn't going to be particularly effective against it.
Yeah,
Do you remember what
I
Julie's
mean to
saying
fluff
about?
like the justification. but-
it's in the siege engine rules, CJ.
Yeah, you're right. I
It
read them the
says-
other day. I'm looking for them.
It says something about it. And the other one is, can Smaug be immobilized / transfixed? Yes. This caused some stir, didn't it?
Is this
Yeah.
the whole yes, but no?
Yeah.
I think he was a meme with two FAQs. One that was saying
Yeah.
he can't be paralyzed, and then one saying he's transfixed, and then it's the Samuel Johnson painting going.
Yeah. I much prefer the Aardman Life of Pirates or
I
whatever.
do,
it
yeah.
is, yeah.
But the whole thing is that other FAQ, which I think is above it. Yeah, it makes them suffer the effects of paralyzed, but it's not
but it doesn't
paralyze.
stop them. Yeah,
So you can.
which I don't know what effects you are suffering from.
Well, the immobilize transfix special.
Oh no, I just mean on the paralyze.
Uh,
The lack of movement. I found your it says about this instant kill situation, so it's referring to siege engines. If it's got defense 10 or 10 or more wounds, then it will do half rounding up rather than die instantly. That's there you go.
Yeah, so it doesn't die instantly. It's just you can't blow up unless if there happens to be another model with Smaug.
I
don't know, because
thought
it's
there was
referring specifically to siege engines, so I think the bomb still will insta-kill Smaug.
Oh no, because a bomb
bomb
just does
does
2d6 wounds
yeah,
or
it does a
d6 wounds.
specific amount of wounds. It's not instant
Yeah.
kill.
Isn't
There's
is it not something about if they don't save one of these wounds, it dies?
No, it's just usually you're
I'm
doing
confused then.
d6 wounds. So if you're a 1 wound model, you're dead.
Fair enough.
And like,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought there was another bit about targeting. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. But I still think a bomb could affect Smaug.
Well, just avoid redacted a message. What was it?
It was T.
Okay.
It's just capital T. So she pressed enter by accident.
So,
just for a quick question then, can the Balrog be blown up if it's immune to fire-based attacks?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not fire.
There's shrapnel as well in this bomb. In fact, if it's like a giant grenade, more people get killed by the shrapnel than they do from the actual explosion.
So, erratas to the armies of the Lord of the Rings. Blackguard of Barad-dûr, change the following. Exchange the shield for a banner. 25 points. So that is purely down to models they sell.
Yeah.
But then the issue with that is there's a bunch of other ones.
No, so
so
to clarify, the difference with this is a Blackguard of Barad-dûr comes with a shield in the profile.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the other situations they don't.
They have to buy a shield.
Whereas the Blackguard of Barad-dûr banner model has a banner but no shield.
Yeah.
So basically you can't have the profile give him a banner and then not have and then have a shield. So basically that's why you have to exchange it.
Okay. So what about all those poor people that have painstakingly crafted a shield to put on their Mordor Uruk-hai just to make it line up? Yeah, they can't use it anymore.
Yeah, just looks nice. That's it.
GW Conspiracy need to buy the model. Again.
like we always say when it comes to these things, they're a company, they make the rules for the models they sell.
To be fair, on this one, I think no one really cares, to be honest.
No. Who takes a Blackguard with a banner?
And you can still use that model in case your normal Orc warrior gets killed with banner.
I was going to say,
yeah. If your Blackguard that stood next to the banner has a shield, and you have a banner model with a shield, and that banner gets killed, he swaps and therefore then has a shield.
Yeah. I imagine the only reason people would give a Blackguard with shield is because he's a slightly higher courage.
Or if it's a mission where you need the banner alive.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so
because you just give it rather than like a Moran and Orc or something like that.
Yeah. Cool. Next one.
Josh has covered it as well.
Yeah. Wild Marauder. Add Cave Dweller to the special rule to the Moria Goblin Riders.
Wasn't aware they'd missed it, to be honest, because I have definitely been shooting people in the dark with with Wild Marauders.
We will move on. Armies of the Lord of the Rings designers commentaries. Whilst mounted on Treebeard, can Merry and Pippin still throw stones if Treebeard is engaged in combat? Yes. I thought that was the case anyway.
Do you measure from them or do you measure from the base?
Next question. When Merry and Pippin throw stones when mounted on Treebeard, where is the distance measured from Treebeard's base?
Cool. I genuinely didn't know that was a follow-up question. I was just
Jay's flipping you the bird.
Yeah. Are models that are being used as the bludgeon during the brutal power attack still considered to be in base contact with any models they were in base contact with before the brutal power attack took place? No. So that is if if a banner's in combat with Treebeard, you can pick that one up to bludgeon with, and therefore the banner cannot be passed on at all.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that what that's for? I didn't understand the question.
That's how I would rule it. And yeah, any special rule that's like that So
Yeah.
so yeah, makes sense to me. Moving down.
If the banner somehow survives his bludgeoning of every single enemy.
If Gulliver is already wounded and slays an enemy model in combat before making all his strikes, does he regain wounds and therefore attacks immediately and therefore can use them in the same combat? No. Gulliver will only gain wounds by slaying models at the end of the combat he is involved with. Just clarity.
Cheesy
But now read the
bastard.
next one. Now read the next one and see the issues.
Yeah.
If Gulliver suffers any wounds whilst making attacks such as Haldir's one final blow, special rule, or Sharku's riding dagger, which results in wounds being reduced, will its attacks be reduced, making any more strikes? If Gulliver is making strikes all in one go, then this will have no effect as the number of attacks Gulliver makes. However, if Gulliver makes these strikes individually and has its wounds reduced before it's finished making all its strikes, then its attacks will immediately be reduced.
So they're reduced, but they're not increased, even though they're both happening during the fight.
Yeah, no, but it's basically given an order. So you reduce first and then you increase.
Yeah.
It's basically the way it works. So increase
But
happens at the end.
I feel like they should both, like neither of them should actually
So
affect it.
It's also relevant
but the thing
if
is
it was Army of the Dead. Because if you're
yeah.
striking the courage, so one, you do a wound, he goes down to courage 3. You do another wound, he goes down to courage 2. And so you progressively get to wound him easier and easier with each one that you do.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a probably more common example than the Haldir one of how it would be implicated.
They've also applied this to the Watcher later on, because if he goes down to 3 wounds, he drops 3 attacks.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I think that makes sense. I just
think it's weird that he doesn't get the benefit, but he gets hindered more. Like I feel like that. Like I just feel like at the start of the battle,
let's
the start of the fight
honest.
should be in the attacks.
Let's be honest. If he takes a wound, he will have killed Haldir or Sharku, and he will then regain that wound.
Yeah, to give you a actual comparison as well. So in Laws of Battle, my general doesn't get the might for killing your hero until the end of the turn or the end of that combat. So I then couldn't use that might to do a wound on someone else if I had the spare attack. So it's consistent with that basically as well.
Yeah. No, but I agree with that, but I'm saying that it's not consistent about him taking wounds and losing attacks. Because the first FAQ says that if he gains wounds, he doesn't gain attacks. But the second one's saying if he loses wounds, he loses the attacks. That's my issue.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not really.
Fuck Gulliver. He gets to ignore Floy, and I'm not happy about it.
So, if the Balrog or the Watch in the Wall hits a model with their Fiery Lash or Tentacle Special, respectively, by dragging them into combat by the shortest possible route, by the shortest possible route, would also put the dragged model into base contact with another friendly model will that friendly model also count as being in combat with the dragged models? Right. Now to change my screen. Because
So CJ's adamant no from 2 weeks ago, which I was like, are you sure? Has quickly been clarified that CJ was wrong.
So Jay's flipping me off this time.
The only thing I'd say with this is be were at the time, because we don't want to go.
I
don't think we got that long left apart from Aphelion.
So.
Yeah, I'm just saying because those
Aphelion we just go. Me and Jay are genius.
So this is your first picture.
Okay, so it's not come up for me on that, but if it's what I think it is, then basically what you're going to be looking at is if you put a screen of goblins in front of the Watcher, then you've got the Watcher.
Is that what the blueberries are?
That is what the blueberries are. Then you've got
there's the avocado.
A target. You've got a target raspberry that you want to murder. He's the enemy hero. Then you're going to drag him into the avocado. But what you've now got the option to do is you can just form a little welcome committee for this guy. Yeah. So you're just going to drag him. You can, even with just a bat and a Watcher, you can angle the bat somewhere where it forces him into one of 2 places quite happily. What you now do is make a little space where only he can get in, where he's now surrounded by bat, Watcher, and as many goblins as you can get. So now, even if he survives the thing by doing heroic defense, he's trapped. He's completely got nowhere to go next turn.
See, when I had it done to me, I didn't have any additional goblins there to trap me. It was just the Bat Swarm and the Watcher.
Dewey did point out you can do heroic defense, but at this point you've got 12 dice off the Watcher, 4 off the Bat Swarm, and then up to another 12 off the Goblins or something. You will roll a ton of sixes in that amount of dice.
And if you survive one turn, you won't
survive the next one. Yeah, and you just auto lose.
Yeah.
You auto lose because it's fight value halved from you go strike up to 10, half down to 5. The Watchers fight 6. It's effectively fight value. You lose whatever you are. Yeah, and then you've got 6 attacks and rend and all the rest of it. And then I've shown with the second and the third pictures, you can then potentially, even if they try and get away to other places, if you've got the goblins to do it, you can just form little pockets where it's just like, no, you're coming in here and you are going to die. The third one I put was, I'm not quite sure when you would do this, but it's to do with if you put goblins to sort of screen, and you can space them out quite happily, then you can make sure the shortest distance is to pull something right to the back of the octopus. And I'm thinking with this, that's what you're going to do for something like Imrahil, Bard, Karndish Chariot was the big thing I thought of, because you're not guaranteed to take that out in one go. But actually, if you pull his banner effect well away, and then what you can do is once you've won the fight, you just lob him, and then he's even further behind you, and he's automatically dismounted.
Doesn't it all say it has to go to the closest point?
Yeah, but the closest point to being
that he can
oh
be placed.
yeah, because you've that
So basically, what?
So the picture only just came up for me, so I was
okay.
And you said octopus, and I was confused because I didn't know where the avocado was getting involved.
Okay.
I'm really tempted actually to just do this diorama out of blueberries, avocados, and raspberries, just for my own personal clarity.
Well, as you can also see from that, you don't need a lot of goblins, and you can space them out just so that a 40 mil base isn't going to squeeze through two of them.
Let's face it, the army which can probably afford to have that many spare models is goblins.
So I then put together a demonstratory army list for how simple it is. I don't know if Dewey's got it. If not, I'll describe it. Okay, there you go. So what we've got here is 40 models at 600 points with 10 might off the top of my head.
Groblog, Captain, Shane.
9 might, sorry. So bear in mind the Watcher can do heroic combats, and so can any captain that you put into that little trap nest. So that if your opponent is trying to do a heroic combat to rescue them, you just go, I'm doing a heroic combat too, 50-50, I'm going to eat him before you can get here. And even then, you've got all these goblins that are sort of blocking in.
So you could
it's just
literally,
so grim.
You could alpha strike like 2 heroes.
Yeah, and
potentially.
that's it.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing, you can pull heroes away so their effects don't happen. You can pull banners in and they're just getting eaten straight away.
I already thought the Watcher was good.
Yeah, now it's disgusting because of this ruling.
And you've just told the world how to make the most of it.
Contest of Champions, get over here.
Rumil might win that fight. Well, I don't think he will, because there are so many dice.
You can only
even if you roll
1/6,
you're probably rolling more than 1/6.
Yeah.
Also, Rumil's got rolled that many dice on. He's got roll a 6 on 4 dice to start off with himself.
And he has got a defense, so you can sort of. But that is the only
thing wounds
that can stop you. There's also no limit on what you can pull in, so you can just go to a fell beast and grab it, pull it in.
Can you pull in a mimic?
What about?
Well, you can't. No, immovable, Immumac, and Smaug.
So there is a limit.
Geffen, what are you saying?
Boromir Gondor Horn.
Oh, I'll blow it and make the Watcher run away.
The
counter to that is that you have a goblin shaman somewhere nearby, and one of the goblins in the combat just goes. So looking here, you've got 2 captains. You can march wherever you want, get the Watcher wherever you want. Groblog is your general who's got 3 heroic defenses and strikes that you don't need anymore. You only need 1 bat. The reason I've only put 1 prowler in is because when you've got that many dice, it doesn't bloody matter. And if they're heroic defensing, that 2-handed thing isn't going to help you either. So I just think it's a pile of absolute filth.
Johnny's just put he's hungry now. And I
Okay.
don't know
'Cause he
whether
was-
like he's got such a delay that he saw me eating the crumble early.
Okay.
I think
Or
he
whether
said
it's
he
just
was
the Watcher
eating people with the
eating it.
Watcher.
Just
Yeah.
watch it eating
Yeah.
things.
I mean, there is so much I could go into on a Tactica for using the Watcher effectively that doesn't
Alright,
include this, but
Genuinely,
to-
because since you've already got the diagram, do you want to do a blog post for like the GHL?
yeah, I think I'll just finish that up and distribute it. Yeah, it's just.
Oh wait, you got your own blog, don't you?
Oh, I can give it to you if you want. The EFC blog hasn't been going for a while. The
Yeah,
other
I'll
quick
steal it.
thing, the other quick thing I thought of, you've got this little trap nest, and if they do heroic defense, you can just do a barge. They can't go anywhere. They're auto-proning, and then you can just run into them again and try again if you want. But the point is that they're now on the floor, and they can't strike back if they. There's loads of little nasty things you can do
That's
with
so
this.
good.
Yeah,
It's the
but
fact that it's not even like a niche situation. Like you could probably pull this off every game.
Remember,
Oh god, yeah.
multiple times.
Also, remember, you don't even necessarily have to do it with the Watcher. You could do it with the Balrog.
Yeah.
Balrog doesn't need help to lawnmower things,
But
but yes, you
Balrog
can
also-
do. Yeah,
But actually, no, you do it with both of them because the Balrog gets the free heroic combat anyway.
yeah.
And
Oh
then,
god.
But you don't need the bat swarm. So actually,
And-
in the Balrog
and-
Legion,
and
this is
you don't need
fucking
as many-
brutal.
And you don't need as many goblins
yeah.
because it's
But
a
you can
smaller
only
base.
pull one hero in, so it's slightly more.
You wouldn't want
situation.
more than one anyway, because at that point the combat then splits, and
Yeah.
one of them does not have the Watcher or the bats in.
Oh no, but because you then do the heroic combat.
This is so. What, Jay? Why did you do this? The Watcher is not a pack hunter. It's not commanding
and-
the goblins to
And
come
also,
feed it.
if we're thinking like a lot of goblin armies will have 2 bat swarms in.
You don't need them now. You just need one. It's going to sit
Yeah.
behind the lines and get fed things, and that's all it needs. It doesn't need to pass a courage test to charge terrifying heroes anymore. You don't need Druzhag or any of that nonsense. You just come here. The Watcher is courage 3. Doesn't matter. Someone else you might want to try. Durberts has got resolve. Only situation I would bother with it is making the Watcher bloody bulletproof on top of 5 will and resistant to magic, and then he's just
The-
like, yeah, screw you,
The
wizards.
one genuine thing to remember about the Watcher though is
Yeah.
if they have blinding light, you'd only hit on 6s.
That will put a big spanner in your works, but you still do d6 shooting attacks per
Yeah.
turn. You
When
can spend might on it if you really need to.
What
You will
turn
get
does
them
it-
eventually.
what turn does it turn up?
Well, this is the next FAQ thing that we want to come on to.
Oh.
The Watcher can't use might on its from the deep rule. So from the second turn onwards, you've got to roll, and on a
Whoa.
3+, you can bring it up. Now, what you think you want to do is like Battle for Middle-earth 2. You bring it up right in the middle of your opponent and go, fwah, knock it. No, you're going to get it killed. You bring it up
Yeah.
behind
Yeah.
your screen of goblins, and you just pull in whatever you want to eat. And you're
Mhm.
going to find that you don't break because goblins aren't dying because you've removed all the things that are killing them and you've taken their banner away. So in that army list, I gave all the spear shields because your only objective is to sit there between them and, the Kraken.
See,
So-
this is another reason why I don't rely on my heroes because there's so like Angmar. Like I know it's not quite as stupid as this, but there's so many things out there that can nuke heroes that like if you rely on them,
Angmar
you're just
is
not.
the peach of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's got competition right now with the Watcher and the
Yeah.
Bat Swarm.
I mean, literally, I've played Moria the whole edition. I'm delighted that they got some attention with the Balrog Legion. This is the most broken bullshit. No, this is a horrible negative play experience. You can't do anything against it.
Yeah.
I really am not in favour. Anyway, moving on.
It's
Next
very-
event, CJ is taking the Watcher.
And leaving with no friends.
You didn't arrive with any.
Hey.
So the next question, because I see we're getting near 11 o'clock. If the Watcher suffers any wounds
Yep,
whilst
yep.
making attacks from
It's the
Haldir
same
or
as-
Sharky,
Same as Gulliver. Yeah.
yeah, he takes them immediately. So cool. Next one. Can the Watcher use might to increase its roll from the deep? No.
So at least it's a tiny bit inconsistent. It might not arrive exactly when you
Yeah.
need it to.
Only you
It's not a
had
wizard.
60 models to
Yeah.
absorb the
Yeah.
impact.
It's not a wizard, so it can't guarantee not being late.
Yeah. One for Devoy. Can a Candice Chariot be knocked prone by the Bash special rule? Special
That's
strike,
so
sorry.
grim.
Yes.
Well, he
Ali?
thought I was
George-
talking to him about this. He thought this is already a thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
genuinely thought
is.
it was
This
a
is
thing
how he
as
was
well.
already playing it.
That's just how it is, I think. If a model with Impaler charges a cavalry model and kills the mount on the charge, will it now gain the cavalry charge bonuses? It is now fighting an infantry model. No, as the initial model charge was a cavalry model. Yeah. That's
It's interesting.
annoying.
That's a bit weird. I'd have assumed that it's just whatever it ends that it's actually in combat with.
Yeah, but from the letter of the law, it charged a
Yeah.
cavalry model.
This is
Like,
actually
I can see why it's ruled that
Yeah.
way, and that but it makes them a little bit less.
Genuine weird thing I find with the FAQ, like you get some like this, which is clearly them going, we're just doing it as to what it would be in the rulebook with how it's written.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are some FAQs which completely go against that grain, which usually it would be like, this is what we kind of intended, or it would be, there's
a bit of
this
inconsistency.
is how it's written, and we're just clarifying it, even if we didn't mean it.
But no,
it's just the nature of.
To be honest,
like
if you kill the mount, then it's still 1 dice versus 1 dice,
and they can't hit you back.
and
that's what they were
most of the time they won't hit you back. So I'm not too fussed about it. And to be honest, you've got a chance of killing the rider anyway.
Yeah.
Most of the time on 5s. So yeah, cool. If a model with a pervase is hit by an impact hit, such as from a war beast or chariot, or a model with impaler, does it still gain the defense bonus? Yes. That made sense to me.
That was a bit of a surprise to me, in fairness, because
Oh, really?
usually it's against ranged hits. But
I imagine it's because for me, the purvey you plant in the ground, and so they run into it. Whereas in a normal fight, it's kind of you sort of you're not. It's not stopping your momentum.
It's too big to act as a shield.
Yeah.
Cool. Battle companies. There is a designer's commentary. If a rider of a cavalry model is slain, but their mount stays on the board, will the model still gain experience for any kills it subsequently made by the mount? Yes. Cool. So that's only for wargs.
Wargs, yeah.
Wargs or fell wargs. There's a few more. If one member of the Vault Warden team dies, can another member of the battle company be upgraded to replace them? No. Makes sense.
that's really harsh.
So that means the tower shield is always at -1.
Yeah.
Unless if you happen to have another foe spare anyway.
And it's still 25 points towards your battle company?
Yeah.
It's grim.
Bloody hell. Oh no, is there not a thing somewhere where it says the front guy is 13 points and the back one is 12? I think that's written in the company somewhere. Anyway.
I hope so, but I always actually valued it as like I think 15 and 10, or 14 and 11.
The one above in black. If one member of the Vault Warden team dies, and the cost for the remaining Vault Warden is for both members, normally 25, so the surviving member would cost 12. So there you are.
Okay.
That's
Emery.
Can a cave troll purchase a troll chain as it has one in its profile? If so, how many influence points be to buy one? Yes, it will cost the same as normal throwing weapon from the armory. Cool. Do Corsair Reavers treat the leader and sergeants as bosun for the purpose of their mindless killers? Yes. Cool.
Okay.
Gondor War Errata.
There's nothing significant in here, is there?
No.
Rangers of Ithilien, replace the second bullet point with the following. A Ranger of Ithilien force must always include Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol. Woo!
So
it's basically being like the Legendary Legion is when Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol are there.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they're
Yeah.
included.
which works both if you're doing Rangers of Ithilien and
the quests
and Battle of Skiliath defending whatever it was, that specific thing.
So it's good to know that if there's an injustice in the game, that they take our constant feedback into mind, and it takes only 3 years of complaining.
And no, they made it better as well in the midterm as well. So one FAQ they made it stronger. But,
So
I don't think it's completely fixed it, but it is a huge step
So
towards
there was-
not just getting wrecked by it every time.
there was a conversation on our Discord from Leon Curry, who said he played Angmar versus Ranger Athelion at 550, I think it was, and he said Angmar. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like it was much more of a game, and Rangers were very close to breaking, and Angmar had only just got to 25% when the game ended. So that's far, and that was against a complete defense 5 Angmar army. So it's far better than it was.
Jack Canavan took it to Lair of the Dragon as his good list,
which is 450 points, we should say.
Yeah, 450 points, which is where, like, when me and Dewi and Matt were discussing about, because we did this change before the FAQ for our events, we were worried it may be too much of a handicap at one point, but he managed to win 50% of his games with the list. Three out of 5.
3 out of 5, and one of them he threw because he got really annoyed and just charged them all in.
Yeah.
So,
so it basically shows going, even at that points level, it's still
viable.
Like, Jack's
Still
a fairly
viable.
competent player, like winning over 50% of your games. Like,
and that's and knowing Jack, that's not playing cheesily.
No.
And what was the list you came up with, which was like 40 Rangers and a banner at 550?
At 550,
40 shots.
Yeah, pretty much. And I figured out a 550 list the other day. It was something like Frodo, Sam Smeagol, Faramir on Horse, Majril, Anborn, whichever the one that gives you Stalk Unseen, and you still get 24 Rangers, half of them with spears.
Yeah.
You don't have a banner, but yeah.
Still a good list.
Yeah, exactly.
And also to anyone who goes, but now I can't run my Rangers of Aphelion without Frodo Sam themes. They're going, well, if you're that committed to the theme, you run them, and they're like an injured hero or a captain or something like that, which is why they move slower. Yeah. And then your theme's perfectly fine, unless if you're generally doing it because you want to smash people off the table, in which case your argument's void.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Play Rangers of the North then. You got the Grey Company.
Yeah,
do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, just call Arathorn Faramir.
Yeah.
And Halbrad, Madril.
Yeah.
Not Madril. Yeah.
Yeah, Madril.
Yeah, Madril.
So designer's commentary from Gondor at War. Ingold's resolute fighter states that he does not back away. Does this mean he is immune to the barge brutal power attack? No. If Ingold is barged, he will still back away as described in the brutal power attack. This is the exception to the rule. Make sense?
It's fair. Yeah.
He's not Glorfindel. Scouring the Shire.
Warden.
Glorfindel's not immune to barge.
Yeah, he is. He's immune to all brutal power attacks.
No, I'm pretty sure it's just Rend and...
is it just Rend
and Hurl?
Either way.
Carry on. Be back to you.
Yeah, Scouring the Shire has no new FAQs.
TJ was looking bored, so I thought
Warren Rohan has no FAQs. Quest of the Ringbearer has 1. When Shelob uses her She is always hungry special rule, does she regain the reroll? Does she gain the reroll for the remainder of the game or just the end of the turn? Alistair, this is one of your questions.
Oh wait, what was that?
The Shelob one.
Oh, yeah, that was more specifically David asking, because the way it is written, it doesn't actually. It kind of implies you then get rerolls. And as they go, it doesn't actually specify until when. He's always played it as the end of the turn, but it's kind of one of those ones where submit the FAQ just so you've got the answer if anyone ever actually tries to put it over you. Over you.
Cool.
And just to close us off, the armour of Gondolin, a bit inconclusive. This is heavy armour. Additionally, whilst wearing it, monster models may not target Glorfindel with brutal power attacks.
Barge doesn't target.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
Barge doesn't target, it's just everything. So, cool.
Fair.
So, but then if Glorfindel is the only model he's fighting, could you then do it?
Still not
No, 'cause
targeting,
you're still
though, is
not-
it? It's still just everyone.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
I mean, you're either targeting or you're not really in any situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Nature's Wrath, even if there's just one model, you're not targeting them.
Yeah.
I do remember Jasmine playing Balrog and then ran into Ed Ball, who was doing a proto Elrond and Glorfindel with knights. So he just put Glorfindel in and defensed every turn while the knights mopped everything else up. You bastard.
That happens. So, sorry we're not going to get to do another Time Top 5 It is 11 o'clock. We have always said these will be about 3 hours with a little break. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed us going through FAQs and letting the rules writers answer all of Ali's questions.
They haven't answered all of them. The one that I
God.
genuinely wanted them to answer was the Durin and his Magic Hat Fate save. And can you mite it?
Yes, it's a fate save.
It's a fate
No,
point, yeah.
it's not a fate point. I think you should.
So
But someone
therefore,
put
no.
forward quite a compelling argument a while ago on the Facebook going, you can't, because it works like fate, but it's not actually listed as one of the things you can mite.
Like, yeah.
So it's there going, like, when something works like a point of fate, does it?
It's
mean
like
you
the
can-
whole thing
yeah.
of Undying Will. The Undying Will doesn't give you lots of battle points because it's not actually fate. It just counts
Yeah.
as.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the
That's-
counter argument the guy did, but then it's also one of those ones. Put it this way, I'm pretty sure I've used it against Jay and mited it, and he never called me up on it. So that's, but it wouldn't be the first time. Like, they're obviously allowed to change their mind from a game to a
Yeah.
game. But yeah,
Either way,
it's one which I genuinely thought out of most of the questions I asked probably could do with an FAQ.
well, it's a simple yes or no, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's so good. It's easy. It's like it's not really controversial either way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But because I think it may actually affect Fury as well. I don't know if there's a.
I can't remember what Fury says.
as in the six, the
Yeah,
fate
if you
save.
channel
Yeah.
Fury, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either
I'll
way,
have a look.
that's for next time. So thank you very much for the people who have joined us right till the end. I hope you've enjoyed our ramblings and discussions on various things. I think we've been pretty succinct with everything we've done and said. CJ essentially telling everyone how to just smash people relentlessly.
How to make people
We
cry.
did go so heavily off topic at times. I'm not sure succinct is the word I would get.
Wait, what did you do this week? Section was the shortest it's ever been. So
It was.
We're getting better at that.
Yeah.
yeah.
We did have a lot to talk about though. So cool.
Yeah.
I
Whole
hope,
FAQ.
yeah. I hope you've all had a good evening. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, which will be the 24th. A main topic for that one is me and Ali would have been to tournaments.
Unless there's something tragic has happened.
Yeah. CJ, are you going to? Anyone else going to tournaments in the next 2 weeks?
No.
No. Cool.
Geffen's gonna. Your target by 2 weeks time is to play another game of SVG.
No,
A bit more pain.
it's you're going to the Grey Heavens in Preston, and I am going to Ardacon. So
I'll wave at you on my way back as you then go up to.
So we can have a bit of a chit chat about our tournaments, what we took.
It's in the points level as well, actually. 650 and 600.
Yeah, Ardacon 600, Grey Heavens 650. So we can have a little bit of a chit chat about that, and we'll do some more time top 5. So we'll kind of summarise our tournament experience. We won't go game
Which
by
will
game.
either be really quick if I lose.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like,
Real.
so I've played 5 games against Rangers of Aphelion.
Yes.
It was horrible.
It will
I'm
be-
glad the FAQ's here.
It will be very interesting to see if anyone does take Rangers of Aphelion.
I've got money, I reckon, on one person taking them.
Sorry, George is coming. You
Oh dear, excellent.
I mean, I feel
Wow.
like if I keep submitting stupid FAQ questions.
Especially
Yeah.
if they're both there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think either are, probably because of the tour I was turning up. But
So we'll do a bit of a tournament recap and kind of how we prepared, etc. And you guys can talk about how you would prepare for a tournament, etc. And what you think of our lists. So cool.
Sure.
It's a wrapping up part.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you on the